Chapter 4076. Second more. I saw a lot of cyan divine power quickly gathering in the void. In the blink of an eye, a huge towering cyan crystal jade palm was formed. This crystal jade palm contained 9 different rules at the same time, which perfectly blended together and made people tremble. With this cyan crystal jade's palm slowly covering, the void below seemed to be unable to withstand such forces, and a faint crack had appeared, as if it would completely collapse at any time. Looking at the cyan crystal jade palm under the cover slowly, Zhen Wushuang smiled indifferently. The Wu-crying Excalibur in his hand was cut out instantly. The strongest power erupts instantly. Open the sky. Wow. The same result as before, the cyan crystal jade palm was split in half by the majestic sword light, and a large amount of cyan divine power escaped frantically around. Okay. The Elder of Thunder God Palace frowned. This boy's strength seems to be a lot stronger than the last time. The Elder of Thunder Palace really feels that Zhen Wushuang's strength has improved. You know, he played against Zhen Wushuang the last time, although his giant hand was also split in half by Zhen Wushuang's sword. But at that time, he didn't do his best, just hit it with one hand, and Zhen Wushuang burst out with his full strength. But now, he has used all his strengths. The cyan crystal jade giant hand he casts is much stronger than the palm that attacked Xiong Jian Wushuang at first, but the sword is still split in half by the sword in front of Jian Wushuang. There is no doubt that Zhen Wushuang's strength is definitely stronger than before. A ghostly figure suddenly appeared on the side of Zhen Wushuang. What suddenly appeared was of course the Blood Mine leader, who was in charge of a special unit in the Thunder Palace. This unit was an assassination unit. The main leader of the Blood Thunder Army is also good at assassination. His speed is incredible. Appearing on the side of Zhen Wu's body, the main palm of the Blood Thunder Army immediately burst out with a dark black sword. Zhen Wushuang has already reacted, his body retreats slightly, and Wu Wei's Excalibur instantly crosses it. Clang! The two came into contact and flashed. Humph! The leader of the Blood Thunder Army snorted, but the dark black sword in the palm of his hand was like a poisonous snake. Hey! Laugh! 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 A sword followed a sword, stabbing at the fastest speed. Just for a short time, the leader of the Blood Thunder Army even stabbed hundreds of swords directly. Each sword was almost to the extreme, and the power was extremely terrible. However, the leader of the Blood Thunder Army did not expect that Zhen Wushuang's sword speed was not slow at all. In this moment, hundreds of swords were also stabbed at the same time, completely blocking his attack. Clang! With another metal-like sound, the main body of the Blood Thunder Army floated toward the rear like a ghost. This boy! Xue Leijun looked at Zhen Wushuang in horror. He is the ultimate master, and is mainly based on assassinations. His speed is what he is best at. At the blink of an eye, he stabbed hundreds of swords. This is definitely one of his killing tricks. This third series dominated the complete resistance. Blood Thunder, be careful, this kid is not weak. The Elder of Thunder God Palace appeared beside the leader of the Blood Thunder Army and said, I can see it. The leader of Xuelei Army nodded slightly. He has understood the laws of the universe, and judging from his speed with which I can keep up with my swordsmanship, he has a high level of awareness of the laws of the universe. The 4th floor of the law of the sea is even possible. The 5th floor of the law sea? The Elder of Thunder Palace was also surprised. They are the ultimate masters, and naturally know what it means for a 3rd-level master to be able to cross the 5th floor of the Sea of Laws. Don't hide yourself, shoot with all your strength, and kill him. The Elder of Thunder Palace sighed, and immediately a surge of violent breath rose from his body, his momentum soared instantly. Boom! The entire Elder of the Thunder Palace is transformed into a huge dark cloud and the sword is unparalleled. As for the main body of the Blood Thunder Army, it disappeared directly into the void. The next moment, peng, 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 peng. Only a horrible roar was heard one after another. Within the dark cloud cover, Zhen Wushuang had already met the Elder of Thunder God Palace. Different from before, the Elder Thunder Palace had only used his frontal attack tricks and was defeated by double-clicking the sword, but now the Elder Thunder Palace directly came forward and slaughtered with the sword unparalleled. The main leader of the Blood Thunder army relied on his own figure to hide in the surrounding void, and from time to time he gave Jian Wushuang a fatal blow. The combination of the two ultimate masters is extremely terrible, especially the assassination and killing of the leader of the Blood Thunder army is too weird and the speed is too fast, it is invincible. Changing to the General Ultimate Master, facing the siege of these two men, I am afraid that they will be extremely embarrassed, and will soon be put on the battlefield. But sword unparalleled but different. Although Jian Wushuang is not the ultimate master, and even his strength is not as good as the ultimate master to a certain extent, his advantages are not possessed by most ultimate masters. That is, his perception of the laws of the universe is too high, the perception of the laws of the universe is extremely high, and they are perfectly combined with kendo, which makes his swordplay become extremely mysterious. Not only can easily resist the front of the Elder Thor Thunder the attack, even the assassination of the Blood Thunder army leader, he was able to reflect in time and easily resist. Even if it was one enemy and two, he did not fall into the slightest. Although these two are very powerful, the two can indeed defeat the General Ultimate Master. Unfortunately, they met me. Jian Wushuang also smiled. In fact, a strong man like him who has a very high understanding of the laws of the universe and can combine with kendo, the best way to defeat him is to directly break the law by force, relying on strong power to crush him. And now, like the elders of the Thunder Palace and the leader of the Blood Thunder army, come to fight with him close to him, and compete with him to fight against him, that is a joke. His sword skill is far more exquisite than that of the elders of the Thunder Palace and the Blood Thunder army. If it is not for the power, he is worse than the ultimate master, and the assassination method of the Blood Thunder army master is indeed enough. If he was terrible, he would have repelled the two. The Elder of Thunder Temple and the Blood Thunder Army Lord have also realized this. No, his swordsmanship is too mysterious. It is much more subtle than the attacks we have performed. Fighting with him close to him is just to find his own abuse. The Elder of Thunder God Palace said lowly, "This kid's strength is indeed very strong. We can't win him at all, just by the two of us." While talking, they all looked intently behind them, and the Lord of the Thunder God Palace was there. Chapter 4077. 3 more arrived today. The Lord of the Thunder God Palace stood in the surrounding void from beginning to end, and never shot. After all, he is the strongest of Thor's palace. Even in the ultimate domination, he is extremely strong and can even be called the top existence. He is the greatest support of Thor's temple. But because of this, he would not easily take shots, because once he took the shot himself, it showed that Thor's palace had been pushed to the extreme by the opponent. Moreover, it was only a third-level master who killed them at this moment. The Lord of the Thunder God Palace had to hold his own identity. The second time he also believed that the Elder of the Thunder God Palace and the leader of the Blood Thunder army were enough to take the other party down. However, the facts completely exceeded his expectations. The Elder of Thunder Palace and the leader of the Blood Thunder army, the two ultimate dominators joined together, and they have all burst out of their powers, but they can't help but control the third level in front of them. After seeing the Elder of Thunder God Palace asking for help from the leader of Blood Thunder army, the Lord of Thunder God Palace looked pale and half-sounded before he finally sighed. "You two, stand back," said the Lord of the Thunder Palace. The Elder of Thunder God Palace and the leader of Shualei army pulled away immediately. After leaving the distance with Jian Wushuang, they looked at Jian Wushuang with a trace of horror. Perhaps the people watching the battle around could not see it, but the two of them were very clear. Since the two of them shot together with Jian Wushuo, they not only did not increase the pressure greatly, but became extremely relaxed, just like leisure. The court wandered, easily resisting their attack. Neither of them attacked the other side at all. On the contrary, the opponent's exquisite swordsmanship makes him and her feel great pressure all the time. "Master, this boy's perception of the laws of the universe is too high, and sword art is extremely profound. If his strength is not much different from him, he can rely on his understanding of the laws of the universe and easily play with me." The Elder of Thunder God Palace said softly rode. "I see it." The Lord of Thunder Palace nodded slightly, but his eyes were unusually cold. "A third-level master dominates me, but the two ultimate masters of Thor's palace are helpless. Bloodsword, you are very good." The Thor's Palace stared at Jian Wushuang. Since this seat became the Thor's Palace, here I can hardly find one in Juyao Starfield that I admire, but today, I cannot admire you. There is no doubt that you are the most terrible genius I have seen in all these years. The elder of the Thunder God Palace also looked very dignified with the main leader of the Blood Thunder army. To the Lord of the Thunder God Palace, the two of them were also very agreeable. A third-level master can fight head-on with their ultimate master, and their two ultimate masters join forces. There is no way to take each other, isn't that difficult? Even in the entire universe, I am afraid it will be difficult to find such a terrible tertiary third-ranking ruler, right? Those who compliment me, there is no need to say those things that compliment me. You either shot them in person or told me everything I wanted to know. Jian Wushuang smiled. That being the case, then it seems that this seat will have to take a shot in person to meet you. The Thunder Palace bland. Although the Lord of the Thunder God Palace said very plainly, he instantly warned Jian Wushuang. After all, the Lord of Thunder Palace is not the two before. Whether it is the Elder of Thunder God Palace or the leader of the Blood Thunder army, although they are the ultimate masters, they are just the general ultimate masters. The Lord of the Thunder God Palace, however, is called the top level among the ultimate masters. Before Jian Wushuang decided to kill the Thunder God Palace, he carefully asked about the power gap between the ultimate masters of the Magic Flame, and the Magic Flame told him that the power gap between the ultimate masters and each level was very large. Generally, those who can reach the top level in the ultimate domination, their strength is definitely more than 10 times stronger than the ordinary ultimate domination. Lord of the Thunder God Palace, let me see how strong you are, the strongest person in the Thunder God Palace. Jian Wushuang squinted his eyes slightly, but there was a hint of excitement in his eyes. The Lord of the Thunder God Palace did not speak anymore, he just looked at Jian Wushuang coldly. The next moment, a large axe appeared in his hand. This is a red golden axe, the axe is 5 meters long, and the body is surrounded by layers of golden thunder. These golden thunders are beating wildly in the void, and an extremely violent atmosphere is passed from this axe. Come out. The rule of top-grade treasure is even close to the top-grade rule treasure. Jian's eyes narrowed. He could see that the great axe that the Lord of the Thunder God Palace had brought out was not much worse than his Wu Cry Excalibur. Stop it. The Lord of the Thunder God Palace fluttered a word. As soon as the words fell, the light golden axe in his hand was chopped down. There is nothing fancy, and the Lord of the Thunder Palace did not even want to fight with Jian Wushuang in close proximity, to compete in swordsmanship, axe, or killing skills. After all, he knows that Jian Wushuang has a great understanding of the laws of the universe, and swordsmanship is far more subtle than his axe. Kalei Jingu's own advantage is also obvious, that is, pure power. The ultimate master at the top level, he can easily kill the master of the 5th rank with a random blow. And now he is throwing an axe with all his strength. As the terrifying mighty power that sweeps through the earth is swept away, the countless powerful people watching the battle all show fear and awe. Even the two ultimate masters, the Elder of Thunder Palace and the leader of the Blood Thunder army, could not help but feel alarmed. The axe power of the Lord of Thunder God Palace is too strong. Far more powerful than the Elder of Thunder Palace and the leader of the Blood Thunder army, it is more than 10 times stronger. The mighty axe shadow slashed directly at Jian Wushuang, and when axe shadow came down, it had completely blocked the void around Jian Wushuang, and did not give Jian Wushuang any space to escape. Purely overpowering people. Humph. Jian Wushuang also appeared like lightning, and at this moment was also bursting out his strongest power. The majestic strength is constantly integrated into his Wu Cry Excalibur, and the strongest Kaitian style at the next moment is directly cut out. This sword, before, was able to cut off the cyan crystal jade palm that the Elder of Thunder God Palace fully concentrated. At this moment, this majestic sword light collided with the axe shadow that came back from the mighty. Peng. A low impact sounded. The surrounding void seemed to be shaking a little at this moment. Jian Wushuang only felt that a horrible force that completely surpassed himself passed on. His Kaitian sword-style sword art collapsed instantly, and the mighty golden axe shadow remained unabated, and it completely drowned him in an instant body shape. Peng. The axe shadow was split directly on Jian Wushuang's body, and the sword Wushuang was directly split into the ground below. A huge pothole also appeared out of thin air. Chapter 4078. The first is more. Too strong. A lot of strong men in the Thunder Palace, including the Elder Thunder Palace and the Blood Thunder Army leader next to the Void, saw a twitch in the heart when they saw Gen Wushuang being split into the ground below instantly. Really terrible. You know, just now the Elder of the Thunder God Palace and the two leaders of the Blood Thunder Army joined hands. They have no way to take a sword. However, the Lord of the Thunder God Palace just crushed Gen Wushuang with just an axe. At the same time, the ultimate dominator, the throne of the Thunder Palace, is definitely not just a little stronger than the elders of the Thunder Palace and the throne of the Blood Thunder Army. The master named Bloodsword, is it dead? So terrible axe, split directly on the body. He is only a third-level master. Even if he is not dead, I am afraid it will not be better. Tell him to provoke me at Thunder Palace. In my opinion, he's dead. Many practitioners of the Thunder God Palace talked about each other, and looked at the pits on the ground below. Suddenly, a flash of lightning appeared from the bottom pit, and appeared in the blink of an eye in the blink of an eye. Ha! It is indeed the Lord of the Thunder God Palace. This strength is much stronger than other ultimate masters. The hearty laughter echoed in this world. And looking at Gen Wushuang reappearing in the void, feeling the slightest weakening of Gen Wushuang's body, the eyes of the many strong men in Thunder Palace were straight. How come? If you don't die, why are you so active? His breath is not weakened at all. Didn't he just hurt him by that axe? Many of the strong men in Thor's palace have eyes widened and their faces are incredible. This is impossible. The elders of Thunder God Palace and the leader of the Blood Thunder Army also issued a scream of appetite. They are the ultimate lords, and they all have the best quality rule armor of the treasure, but even if they both bear the axe that the Lord of the Thunder God has just received, they will definitely be injured, and the damage will not be light. And Gen Wushuang, although the combat power is not much weaker than them, but how can it be just a third-level master? A third level dominates, shouldn't their body care ability be comparable to them? How could it bear that axe and be intact? This boy. The eyes of the Lord of the Thunder God Palace also narrowed slightly. In fact, the shock in his heart was not inferior to that of the elders of Thunder Palace and the Blood Thunder Army, but Gen Wushuang, who reappeared in front of him, really did not look like an injury. Is this kid with some kind of special treasure, such as some powerful anti-elixir, which can instantly restore the injury? The Lord of the Thunder God could not help but think, but his look will soon recover again. See if you really have that great capacity. The Lord of the Thunder God Palace shot again, and raised the giant axe in his hand, but the moment when the giant axe was raised, the momentum was even greater. The aura of destruction condensed in that giant axe was also more intense. Humph! With the thunder of the Lord of the Thunder God Palace, the giant axe in his hand broke again. The same axe that crushes people with force, without any fancy. Some are stronger and more powerful. It's awful. The axe shadow is mighty, and once again falls in front of Gen Wushuang. But this time the sword unparalleled, but did not intend to use the sky to expand the sword style, but directly triggered the sword array. A special wave of energy spreads. Special swords surged wildly, forming a strong and tough sword domain. In a short moment of effort, the sword has gathered nearly 100 ground sword areas without double-sided fronts, and these ground sword areas are also perfectly combined in a special way to form a huge and complete Earthguard sword array. Gen Wushuang's strongest body protection trick, the Earthguards the sword array. This sword array, with Gen Wushuang's continuous application of the laws of the universe, and then perfectly combined with Kendo, the power is much stronger than before. This sword array is definitely the strongest body protection method of Gen Wushuang. Boom! The axe carrying the mighty power finally came to the front of Gen Wushuang, and directly bombarded the Earth Guardian sword array. At this moment, the entire Earth Guardian sword array began to tremble madly, and the heavy King Sword realm was successively defeated. With just a blink of an eye, the entire Earth Guardian sword formation collapsed for the most part, but the power of the giant axe was still extremely powerful and continued to impact. Finally, the entire Earth Guardian sword formation was defeated. The Earth Guardian sword formation was split open by the axe shadow. My earth guarded the sword array, but was defeated. Jian Wushuang murmured secretly, but not surprised. After all, it is the ultimate master of the top level, and he has performed a trick, and it is normal to open his protective sword array. Only after the axe shadow defeated the Earth Guardian sword formation, most of the power was consumed. Although the remaining power continued to pass through, it could pass through the weakening of the sword-to-body surface of the legal system to the treasure armor, and then truly passed to the sword-to-sword. There is not much left on the divine body. The sword deity's body is also comparable to the rule of inferior goods, and it is not a big deal to endure this blow. On the bright side, after Jian Wushuang accepted the axe, he was just split back a long distance, and then stood still again. Jian Wushuang still had a smile on his face. Lord of the Thunder Gods, did the axe just be your strongest blow? If your strength really is like this, then I am afraid that you will be disappointed today. Just this strength, don't talk about killing me, you can't even hurt me. Although Jian Wushuang's words sounded crazy, what he said was indeed the truth. The attack of the Lord of the Thunder God Palace did not hurt him. The many powerful men in Thor's palace are completely shocked at this moment. He didn't even get hurt. I took the axe of the palace master from the front just like nothing else. The breath has not weakened at all. Where is this blood sword from the monster? Not only are the powerful men of the Thunder Temple, but also the three ultimate masters of the Thunder Temple. The three masters of the Thunder Palace, the elder of the Thunder Palace, and the main leader of the Blood Thunder Army are all gloomy at this moment. Especially the Lord of Thor's. If you say the first axe before, the Lord of the Thunder God Palace also doubts whether Jian Wushuang is posing or has been severely damaged, but it immediately restored the instant elixir or special treasure. But the second axe just cast, he can clearly see the process from beginning to end. There is no pretense, no treasure that can swallow any restoration power. Jian Wushuang took his axe purely stiffly, but was not injured at all. Mando Sword. Chapter 4079. Second more. How is this possible? How could he not be hurt? The Elder of Thunder Palace almost roared out. The sword array he just casted should be a Guardian sword array, which is very powerful, but the Palace Master's axe is stronger, and the Palace Master's strongest axe, although most of it is weakened by that sword array, but the remaining power was still really hitting him. He had the armor of the arcane warrior, but the power of that axe could not be completely blocked by the warrior of the law. The power of that axe, even if there is only 10% of the body passed to him, it is logically enough to easily kill the third-level master. No matter how bad it is, it will be okay to damage him. But the result? The leader of the Blood Thunder Army frowned. Only then did they realize what a terrible monster called Bloodsword Lord who provoked the door today. Obviously, it is only a third-level master, but the power of combat can even rival the ultimate master, especially the perception of the laws of the universe is simply incredible. At the same time, his body protection methods are extremely extreme. Even the strongest axe of the Lord of the Thunder God Palace cannot hurt the slightest. Where did this monster come from? Said the Elder of Thunder God Palace, and he looked faintly at Xiong Zhenshuang. It was indeed frightening. Although the current Jian Wushuang seems to be not too powerful, it is important to know that Jian Wushuang is still only a third-level master. It's just that the third level dominates the level, letting his Thunder Palace do his utmost. What will happen if he breaks through in the future to reach the fourth, fifth, or ultimate level? At that time, his Thunder Palace in front of the Bloodsword Master, I am afraid it is no different from the ants. The Lord of Thor's Palace. Jian Wushuang's voice sounded again. Is that axe really the strongest axe you have? Hearing the words of Jian Wushuang, the Lord of Thunder God Palace frowned, but was silent. It looks like it. Jian Wushuang nodded slightly, and said, Your Thunder Palace has stood in these 9 starfields for so many years. It is the Overlord's existence. With such deep foundation, there must be a lot of hole cards. These hole cards, or you can try it out and see if you can kill me. The Lord of the Thunder God Palace was silent again. There is indeed some hole cards in Thunder Palace, this is not false. But even if he really took out the strongest hole card, he didn't have the slightest assurance to kill the Bloodsword in front of him. Instead, he lost the strongest hole card in vain. Although I don't want to admit it, the master of the Thunder God Palace knows very well that with the power of the Thunder God Palace, he can't kill the blood sword in front of him, even if the Thunder God Palace is desperate to do everything. I have given you a chance. It seems that your Thunder Palace can't be grasped. In this case, then, let me look at my means. Jian Wu's eyes suddenly became cold. What do you want to do? The Lord of the Thunder God Palace stared at Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang smiled indifferently, but his figure suddenly moved. As if ghostly, he swept directly to the side of the void, and in that direction, it was the Blood Thunder Army Master. Blood Thunder, be careful, reminded the main company of Thunder Palace. The Blood Thunder Army Master was already alert, but he saw Jian Wushuang killing himself, but the Blood Thunder Army Master was not afraid. Although Jian Wushuang is not weaker than him, he is not much stronger than him. 1-to-1, it is logical that Jian Wushuang cannot threaten him. However, soon the main look of the Blood Thunder Army changed. So fast. The main eyes of Shuelei Jun became red. He saw that Jian Wushuang appeared in front of him and was ready to shoot, but whoever wanted the sword that Wushuang sung out was too fast. It's incredible, it's almost to the extreme, and it makes him the ultimate master, and it's too late to resist. Obviously it was a sword technique under his eyelids. He saw that the sword was unparalleled, but he couldn't resist it. He couldn't keep up with the speed of the sword unparalleled. How could this be so fast? The Legion's face was unbelievable, and he could only watch the sword Lung Zhengguang that Jian Wushuang waved directly across his body. Ha! The leader of the Blood Lei army stunned. This sword seems to be very powerful. It is indeed very general. At the moment when the sword light passed by, the Blood Thunder Master almost didn't feel much. The power of that sword was very ordinary. I am afraid that it can reach the threshold of the ultimate master. On his body, but he has the rule of precious treasure armor, this sword will not hurt him at all. Is it just fast? But the next moment, the leader of the Blood Thunder Army widened his eyes. Not good. The main eyes of Blood Thunder Army were red, as if they were about to bleed. At this moment, he was bearing an extremely horrific attack. This terror attack comes from the venom attack carried by Wu Weapon Sword. Yes, Jian Wushuang's sword is really just fast, and the power is very general. Normally, it won't hurt the Blood Thunder Army Master, but if the venom in Wu Cry Excalibur is incorporated, it's completely different. Already. That venom, the moment it touched the main body of the Blood Mine Army along the Wu Weapon Sword, the venom immediately merged into the main body of the Blood Mine Army through the rule of Arcana Warframe. Blood Thunder Army's Arcane Warframe can resist physical damage, but it cannot stop the pervasive venom from eroding. The horrible power of that drop of venom suddenly burst out in the main body of the Blood Thunder Army. Puff! A large mouthful of blood spurted out from the main Blood Thunder Army's mouth, the main throne of the Blood Thunder Army. At this moment, he was frightened too much, and his divine power was being consumed at an incredible speed. In just a moment's effort, his divine power was lost by more than 70%. Fortunately, after consuming more than 70% of the divine power, he finally suppressed the erosive force in his body for the time being. Blood Thunder. Blood Thunder. Both the Lord of the Thunder Palace and the Elder of the Thunder Palace have come to the side of the leader of the Blood Thunder Army. Both of them are anxious. The leader of the Blood Thunder Army slowly opened his eyes. It's dangerous, I'm almost dead. The leader of the Blood Thunder Army knew very well that he had just walked on the edge of life and death, and almost fell off. Blood Sword. The Thunder Palace Master saw the miserable look of the Blood Thunder Army Master, cannot help but grit his teeth. Jian Wushuang also looked at it at this time. The Lord of Thunder God Palace, you may not know yet, I have two different venoms in my hand. The one that was just used for the Blood Thunder Army Master is only the lesser one, worth 1,000 source stones and 1 drop. Venom, but I still have a drop of 5,000 yuantia in my hand, a stronger venom, you want to try it? As soon as the voice fell, Jian Wushuang waved his hand, and a drop of darkness was like ink, exuding the venom of fear, and appeared in front of him. Chapter 4080. I will change it today. There are indeed 2 venoms in the swordless hands. One kind was that which Jushu obtained from him at first, a total of 12 drops. Although he used 1 drop and sold 9 drops, he left 2 drops to refining and integrate into Wu weapon hit it. It was this venom that he urged to deal with the Blood Thunder army leader just now. Although this venom was also made by a poison master who is the ultimate master, it is also powerful enough to easily kill the 5th rank master, but if it is used to deal with the ultimate master, some weaker ultimate masters may fall, but as long as they are slightly stronger, they can still be forcibly resisted. The main leader of the Blood Thunder army survived the attack of this venom. But this is also because Jian Wushuang did not directly kill the killer. If he wanted to kill the killer, he would use the second venom, which is the dark venom that he now took out. This venom is worth a drop of 5,000 cosmic source stones. Among the ultimate masters, unless it is a special existence who has understood the laws of the universe and is extremely powerful against the sky, as long as it bears the erosion of this venom, it is almost fatal. If Jian Wushuang had just used this venom, the Blood Thunder army master would never have survived. Not to mention the Lord of the Blood Thunder army, even the Lord of the Thunder God Palace, if accidentally suffered from this venom, it is likely to die directly. Therefore, when Jian Wushuang took out this dark venom, the Lord of the Thunder God Palace, the Elder of the Thunder God Palace, including the Blood Thunder army leader who had been hit hard, were frightened. So, that's. The Thunder Palace horror looked at the venom taken out by Jian Wushuang, and his heart still set off a huge wave. The Elder of Thunder Palace and the leader of the Blood Thunder army were even more frightened. This venom is definitely several times or nearly 10 times stronger than the one that just eroded me. The venom that just eroded almost killed me, and if he uses this venom to attack me, I will die. The leader of the Blood Thunder army trembled. This boy, no matter how much he is only a 3rd level master, how could he be in control of such a terrible venom? The Elder of Thunder God Palace also trembled a bit. At this moment, the 3 ultimate masters of Thor's palace stand together, facing only Jian Wushuang. But the eyes of the 3 men looking at Jian Wushuang are full of deep fear. Even the powerful Lord of the Thunder God Palace is the same. What they feared was not Jian Wushuang itself, but the drop of venom in Jian was hands. The venom, even the Lord of the Thunder God Palace, felt very palpitated. Master of Thunder God Palace, do you want me to continue to shoot? Jian Wushuang said with a smile. The dark venom was in the palm of his hand, and her gaze at the 3 people in Thor's palace was full of fun. To be stubborn, naked begging. It is clear that they are going to be stunned, but the 3 ultimate masters of Thunder Palace have to pay attention. Blood Thunder, what was this boy's sword about just now? If such a sword comes again, will you resist it? Thunder Lord said quietly. I can't stop it, I'm not sure. The leader of Shualei army shook his head directly. He just had that sword. The power is not strong, but the key is that the speed is too fast. The speed is incredible. The range of tolerance, and such a sword, combined with that terrible venom, is definitely the most terrifying attack, let alone me, the General Ultimate Master, who can block his sword. It is estimated that there are few. The leader of the Blood Thunder army was very clear about the incredible speed of Jian Wushuang's sword. The Blood Thunder can't stop, then I'm afraid I can't stop the sword. The Elder of Thunder God Palace also said. They have to admit that Jian Wushuang's sword, combined with that special venom, threatens them too much. In fact, Jian Wushuang's actual performance before it was originally developed after he had acquired this special venom and could fully control it. That sword was called Huang Quan Mo Ask. The power of swordsmanship is very general, but the speed of swordsmanship is definitely the fastest sword that Sword Wushuang can cast. He is the fastest sword that can be evoked by his own understanding of the laws of the universe and the perfect combination of kendo. He created this sword, not to rely on the power of swordsmanship to cause heavy damage to the opponent, but just to make the opponent too late to resist, so that his Wu Cry Excalibur can touch the opponent's body. As long as Wu Weiss Excalibur can touch the opponent's body, the venom contained in Excalibur can be immediately evoked, just as he had just dealt with the Lord of Blood Thunder. Neither the leader of the Blood Thunder army nor the Elder of the Thunder God Palace can stop the Sword Wushuang's sword. Natural Sword Wushuang can easily kill the 2 as long as they use the dark venom. This had to make the Lord of the Thunder Palace nervous. After all, although the Thunder God Palace has stood for so many years in Juyao's large star domain, Its heritage is extremely deep, but there are only 3 masters at the ultimate level. These 3 ultimate dominators are no better than those ordinary masters suppressed by Gensho Shuang. Even if all the suppressed masters die, they are nothing to Thor's palace. But the ultimate dominator, as long as one falls casually, this is a huge loss to the Thor temple. If it loses 2 places at a time, it will definitely be a heavy blow to Thor's palace, and it will even affect Thor's dominance in these 9 starfields. Blood Thunder, Elder, both of you, quickly return to the palace. There is a law circle in the palace, he can't shoot at you. The Thunder Palace Master whispered. Yes. The elders of the Thunder Palace and the leader of the Blood Thunder army both nodded slightly, and then they retreated toward the rear of the Thunder Palace. Jian Wushuang naturally also noticed the actions of the 2 of them, even when he smiled. The Lord of the Thunder God Palace, you want the 2 of them to hide in the Thunder God Palace, so I can't help them, right? The Lord of the Thunder God Palace did not speak, but looked at Jian Wushuang indifferently. Haha, do you think this is useful? Even if I can't kill them, you can't kill me, even if I can't do anything about it. From today on, I've been staying outside the old nest of your Thunder Palace, your Thunder the strong man in the palace. As long as you dare to come out, I will kill one, and I will ask your strong man under the throne of Thor, for a long time, you will not dare to leave the nest. Hearing the words of Jian Wushuang, Thor's complexion was finally gloomy. Chapter 4081. One more today. That's right, the Lord of the Thunder God Palace has no fear of sword unparalleled. Even if Jian Wushuang's Huangquan Maoan is really incredible, the strength of the Thunder Palace Master can still be blocked. No matter how terrible the venom in the swordless hands is, it is still difficult to pose a great threat to the Thunder Palace Master. The Thunder God Palace, because of the existence of the Guardian Law, Jian Wushuang also cannot kill. But Jian Wushuang will not kill in. But the strong man in their Thunder Palace cannot stay in Thunder Palace all the time, right? Although there are some space passages in Thor's palace, they can leave in secret, but they have been blocked in front of the old nest in this way, but there is no way to take the other side. This is absolutely a shame to Thor's palace. If it spreads out, Thor's palace will definitely become a joke of Juyao's big star domain. The absolute supremacy of Thor's palace in the Joyao starfield will inevitably be shaken, and even the other 3 overlord forces will take the opportunity to start against Thor's palace. These are all things that the Lord of the Thunder God Palace did not want to see. Taking a deep breath, the Lord of the Thunder God Palace looked at Jian Wushuang again, but followed with a wave. A peculiar force permeated, directly covering the surrounding void, which was already shielding the surrounding space and time. Seeing this scene, Jian Wushuang smiled. Since the Lord of the Thunder Palace has shielded the space and time around him, it is naturally intended to really talk to him. Lord of the Thunder God, have you finally no longer overbet and wanted to kill me directly? Jian Wushuang looked at the Lord of the Thunder God with interest. The Thunder Palace snorted only, without speaking. And because of the shield of time and space, those who are strong in the Thor's palace can't hear him talking. Say, what do you want? The Lord of the Thunder God Palace stared at Jian Wushuang. My purpose, the Elder should have told you long ago. I want to know the Xuani who was rewarded by your Thunder Palace more than 100,000 years ago. Where is he? Jian Wushuang asked. He's dead, the Thunderlord directly said. Dead? Jian Wushuang frowned, but his eyes became cold. How did you die? Of course, it was beheaded by my Thunder Palace. The first day he killed my Thunder Palace, of course, there is only one way to die. The Thunder Palace Master said lowly. Killed by your Thunder Palace? Jian Wushuang smiled. This smile was a little ironic. Lord of the Thunder Palace, don't deceive yourself, although I don't know if he really died now, but I'm sure, with your Thunder Palace, you don't have the ability to kill him. Thunder God Palace can't kill Xuani. To this point, Jian Wushuang is very confident. Specifically, he is confident in Xian Yi. His master Xuani was too mysterious and the method was too incredible. If it is not for some very special reasons, even if he is only a general master, he cannot be killed by ordinary people. Although Thor's palace is the overlord of these 9 starfields, there are also many powerful men, and there are 3 ultimate masters, but Jian Wushuang really doesn't think Thor's palace can kill Xuani. You know, even in the early divine realm, his master Xian Yi was only the master level of the rule. If he had not been dragged down by the divine realm, he was constrained everywhere, and he could not completely let go of his hands and feet. I'm afraid there is nothing to do with him. The words of Jian Wushuang made the Lord of the Thunder God Palace silent for a while, but soon he looked up again and said, "Yes, that Xuani means is very good. No matter the life-saving ability and concealment means, I don't feel that the General Master can owned. I previously spent a lot of money on Thor's palace, and couldn't kill him. Even trying to find his trace was very difficult. Even after offering such a big reward, it still failed to kill him. If he has been hiding in this way, I am afraid that even if it has been for millions of years and tens of millions of years, I have no way to take him from Thunder Palace, but if he chooses to hide, he will come to my Thunder Palace to die. It will be very easy for me to kill him at Thunder Palace." Proactive death. Jian Wushuang stunned. His master Xian Yi will take the initiative to come to Thunder God Palace for death. The Lord of Thunder God Palace, dare you lie to me? Jian's eyes were sick and you could, staring at the Lord of Thunder God Palace. Well, this is the case now. Do you think I will lie to you? If you don't believe it, I can make an oath to the origin of the universe. Thunder Lord shouted coldly. Swordless eyes narrowed slightly. The Lord of the Thunder Palace dared to make an oath to the origin of the universe. It should not be deceiving him. His master Xian Yi, did he take the initiative to run to the Thunder Palace? Why is this happening? Jian Wushuang asked again. I don't know the exact details, but when he took the initiative to seek death, he had proposed a condition. Thunder God Palace said. What conditions? Jian Wushuang asked. He has a woman named Ba, who was born as a slave. His hometown is within the second level of the astral plane in my Thunder Palace. He asked me to return this woman to her hometown, and as long as the woman is in the second level of the astral world, I have to make every effort to take care of her and prevent her from being harmed. That's it. Jian Wushuang stunned. That's it. As for the rest, I don't know anything about Thunder Palace. Thunder God's main road. Jian Wushuang's brow deepened. He had read the information before, knowing that the reason why his master Xian Yi would slay the Thunder Palace on the first day before Lei Yi was for a woman named Ba. Now that he respects Xian Yi, even for this eighth, he took the initiative to go to the Thunder Palace to die. What exactly is going on? Jian Wushuang wondered. Who killed you in Thunder Palace? Jian Wushuang asked. That Xuani killed his own disciple. Naturally he killed him with his own hands. The Thunder Lord's voice was cold. But when I killed him, I felt a little weird. He was too calm, as if his life and death were completely insignificant, which made me wonder at one time whether he came to die as just a clone, but the deity is elsewhere. But when I killed him, I searched carefully, but I couldn't find a trace of his avatar. When the Lord of the Thunder Gods said this, his eyes were obviously with a hint of doubt. Hearing this, Jian Wushuang smiled. Avatar? There is no doubt that the one killed by the Lord of the Thunder God Palace will never be Xuani's deity. Or it can be said that Xian Yi, who has been living in Joyao Starfield, was not originally a deity. Even in the early days of Xuani in the realm of the gods, it is probably not the deity. You know, in the beginning of the world, Xian Yi was also dead. So many people saw it. Xian Yi in the Joyao Starfield also died, so calmly. Chapter 4082. It's here today. According to Jian Wushuang's speculation, his master Zuni in the early world of the gods is likely to be a clone of a powerful person in the universe. In this Joyao Starfield, Xuani is likely to be an avatar, otherwise he won't die so calmly. Master of Thunder God Palace, since Xuani died in your hands, should the many treasures left by him be in your hands? Jian Wushuang asked. His Chenkuan ring is here. I checked before. He is extraordinary and has some special treasures, but that's all. The throne of the throne shook a Chenkuan ring directly to Jian Wushuang. After the sword Wushuang took it, the consciousness was simply swept away. The many treasures in the ring of heaven and earth are enough to be dominated by a fifth-ranked ruler, even the rule treasure, but the real treasure is nothing. Jian Wushuang glanced at the Lord of the Thunder God Palace, without doubt. There is one more thing. Since you have killed Xuani in Thunder Palace, why not make it public? Instead, you quietly revoke the reward, and the entire Thunder Palace keeps this matter completely confidential. Only a few people at the highest level know. This matter? Jian Wushuang asked again. From the perspective of Jian Wushuang, Thunder God Palace has offered a huge reward to kill his master Xian Yi. Now that Thunder God Palace has killed Xian Yi, it should naturally be made public. The performance of K Shrine is obviously not the case. Lord of the Blood Sword, what do you think of my Thunder Palace? Wouldn't my Thunder Palace have no face at all? The throne of Thunder Palace said coldly. Face? Jian Wushuang wondered. That Xuani is just a third-level master. I have spent so much time looking for him and killing him at Thunder Palace. It has been unsuccessful for 100,000 years. This is a shame, but if the outside world knows, my Thunder Palace failed to find out that Xian Yi, but instead that Xian Yi took the initiative to come to the door to die, and then I killed him in Thunder Palace, and then my Thunder Palace really became a joke. Thunder Lord's voice cold. That's why your Thunder Palace quietly revoked the reward and wanted to let it go. Jian Wushuang said. Yes, that's it. The Lord of Thunder Palace nodded. Of course, there is another reason, that is Xian Yi, although he is only the third-level master, but he completely made me see through. I once wondered whether there is a lot of history or background, and this Xuani died in my hands in the end. I naturally worried that the people behind this Xuani would come to me, so I wanted to cover this matter as much as possible, but it didn't take long before you came to your door. In the words of the Lord of the Thunder God Palace, there is obviously a hint of helplessness. After hearing what the Lord of Thunder Palace said, Jian Wushuang frowned. He already understood. When Xian Yi slayed Thunder God Palace on the first day, Thunder God Palace was extremely angry, and at that time he didn't even think much about it. He just released a reward before and made such a big noise. But later, with the contact of Xuani by Thunder Temple, Xuani felt extraordinary. Especially after Xian Yi came to the door to seek death, the owner of Thunder God Palace and Xian Yi could not see Xian Yi completely. This made the Lord of Thunder God Palace vigilant and felt that Xian Yi had a large background. By that time, the Lord of the Thunder God Palace had actually regretted that there had been so much movement but rewarded Xian Yi, but the arrow had to be sent on the string. The Lord of the Thunder God Palace still killed Xian Yi, but then began to cover up this matter. One was for his own face, and the other was that he didn't want to let this thing spread, shocking the forces or background that might exist behind Xian Yi. This explanation of the Lord of the Thunder God's Palace, sword unparalleled, is acceptable. The Lord of Thunder God Palace. Jian Wushuang looked back at the Lord of Thunder God Palace in front of him. I can tell you now, Xian Yi, who was beheaded by you, he is my master, to be precise, my master. A clone. Master? The Lord of Thunder God Palace froze, but his heart was twitching. This blood sword, but the third level dominates the level, but his combat power is completely comparable to the ultimate level, and his perception of the laws of the universe, the terrible heights, are definitely the most terrifying super evils in the vast universe. Such evils are amazing enough in themselves. How terrible can they be to teach such characters? At this moment, the heart of the Lord of the Thunder God Palace was indeed frightened. His fright, Jian Wushuang naturally noticed it. I saw Jian Wushuang smiled, and said, the Lord of Thunder God Palace, what kind of character my teacher is, although this avatar that you beheaded is not important to him, but his identity and strength are there. Tell me about this. What happened, right? What do you want? Thor Lord took a deep breath. It's very simple. Take out 30,000 cosmic source stones to make atonement, and that's all for now. Jian Wushuang Dao. Okay. The Lord of Thunder Palace nodded without hesitation. So refreshing. Jian Wushuang was surprised. In fact, Xian Yi is his master, but whether it is really a clone or something special, Jian Wushuang does not know, and whether Xian Yi really has a large background, everything is a mystery. However, Jian Wushuang saw the Thunder Palace master's fear of his master's identity, naturally wanted to breathe out for his master, knocked the Thunder Palace master a bamboo stick, so he directly proposed 30,000 universe source stones as a gift. I thought the price was high enough, and the Lord of the Thunder God had to bargain to some extent, But the Lord of the Thunder God promised so easy. The 30,000 cosmic source stones directly agreed. It is indeed the hegemon who has stood for so many years in the Joyao starfield. Thunder Palace is really rich enough. It seems that the price of the 30,000 universe source stones is still lower. Jian Wushuang smiled. But when I heard this, the main corner of the Thunder Palace could not help but twitched. 30,000 cosmic source stones. You have to know that generally all the net worth of the ultimate dominator is only about 10,000 source rocks of the universe, 30,000, which is equivalent to all the net worth of the 3 ultimate dominators. However, after all, the throne of the Thunder Palace is the top of the ultimate domination. The net worth is much richer than the general ultimate domination. In addition, the Thunder Palace has been standing for 9 years in Joyao. Of course, even if it can be taken out, this is an extremely large number for Thunder God Palace. There is no way for the Lord of the Thunder God Palace. He really thinks that Xuani has a huge history and has a large background. After all, a disciple who dominates the 3rd level alone has made him helpless. If there is anyone behind Xuani, come forward, then his Thunder Palace cannot resist. So he can only compromise. Chapter 4083. The first is more. I'll tell you the truth, 30,000 source rocks of the universe, this matter will end. Jian Wushuangdao. You wait here. The Thunder Palace Master immediately returned to the Thunder Palace and began to prepare for the 30,000 cosmic source stones. After all, the 30,000 cosmic source stones are not a small number. Although the Thunder God Palace can be taken out, it is also hurting. After a while, the Lord of the Thunder God Palace returned to Jian Wushuang before, and at the same time he brought a Qian Kuan ring to Jian Wushuang. 30,000 source rocks of the universe are all here. Thunder Palace said. Jian Wushuang glanced briefly and nodded slightly. Master of Thunder God Palace, where is the woman named Arba now? Jian Wushuang asked. She opened a tavern in the dust and rain world. Over the years, my Thunder Palace has always sent strong men to protect her secretly. After all, this seat promised that Xuani personally, to protect her thoughtful, naturally not forward. Thor Shrine said. You're smart. Jian Wushuang smiled, and immediately stopped staying, turning and leaving. Seeing Jian Wushuang finally leaving, the Lord of Thunder God Palace, and a large number of strong men in Thunder God Palace, exhaled heavily. This horrible guy finally left. The Blood Thunder Army Master also had a lingering fear. Although Jian Wushuang left, it has to be said that Thunder God Palace did carry a heel this time. After leaving Thor's palace, Jian Wushuang went directly to the Dust and Rain astral world, and Cold Frost naturally followed him. The Dust Rain astral realm is just an ordinary secondary astral realm controlled by His Majesty Thor's palace. In a city in this astral realm, there is a tavern. The pub is small in size and very simple, but there are many guests in the pub. And many of these guests are actually directed at the owner of this pub. Look, this lady is really pretty. It's more than beautiful, this face, this figure is just perfect. Unfortunately, she was born as a slave, and she always has a special mark on her hand that can never be erased. It would be more perfect without this mark. There were whispers in the tavern. And some fiery eyes, from time to time looked at the plain robe woman in front of the pub counter. The woman was slender, and although she was wearing a simple plain robe, she couldn't hide her nearly perfect body, and then matched it with an all-encompassing face. It felt like a goddess fell into the dust. But this woman's appearance is undoubtedly enough to shock the world. I'm afraid that the entire Dust and Rain world can hardly find a second person who can match her in appearance. Because of this, the business of this tavern will be so good. The guests came to the tavern to see the boss. At this time, you're the owner of this tavern? A sudden murmur sounded suddenly. In the tavern, the sound of whispering stopped immediately, and the eyes of the guests immediately looked at the source of the sound. When they saw the person's appearance clearly, most of them showed a playful smile. It was a young man in a luxurious suit who made a squeaking voice. The young man was followed by 2 guards, who were so arrogant that they were the 2 masters. Being able to have the two lords as guards has fully demonstrated the extraordinary origins of this young man. And the beautiful woman who had been busy at the counter also looked up slightly, looked at the young man, and then lowered her head, and continued to do her own thing. Well, I heard that in this tavern, there is a terrific boss lady. Seeing today, it did not disappoint me. The young man smiled. Girl, my name is He-Yun, my father is W.N. Yang. Your Majesty controls countless territories. A beauty like you should not be a boss lady in a tavern in this city. Instead, go back with me. I promise you to be windy in this dusty world. If you want rain to rain, why not hurry? The young man He-Yun said with absolute confidence. He did have this confidence. His father, W.N. Yang, was indeed a hegemon in this dusty world. But after this He-Yun's words were finished, the beautiful woman still kept her head down and was busy with her own affairs, and ignored him at all. This made the expression on He-Yun's face froze slightly, and his look was quite awkward, but after that, he was angry. Girl, don't toast or not to eat and drink. The woman I want to get from He-Yun has never gotten. He-Yun's voice was cold, and the two guards behind him were staring at it coldly. Beautiful woman. Obviously, as long as the beautiful woman doesn't agree, they will shoot directly. But they did not notice that the guests in the tavern were looking at them with compassion, especially N.A. He-Yun. Boom. A powerful breath erupted suddenly. This breath directly reached the fourth level, and instantly oppressed He-Yun and his two guards. The two guards, who were only the first level dominating level, immediately showed horror. The two were shivering and shivering. As for that, He-Yun is just the ruler. At this moment the spar was suppressed and lay directly on the ground. Go away, otherwise, die. A cold drink sounded in the ears of the three He-Yun at the same time. He-Yun's two guards were so scared that the spirits flew away, and immediately dragged that He-Yun away. After the three of them left, the breath slowly converged. When the guest in the tavern saw this scene, they were all surprised. That He-Yun just now is really embarrassing. Haha, he is also stupid. He didn't inquire about the identity of the boss before stealing people. She was let the Thunder Palace guard himself, not to mention that his father was just a fourth ranker in the Dust and Rain world dominated. Even if the first strongest in the Dust and Rain world came, I dare not dare to pay her attention. If I remember correctly, this He-Yun should be the 21st person who has been scared in these years. The guests in the tavern chat and laugh at will. They all live in this town, so naturally they know a little bit about the identity of the tavern owner. They know that the origin and background of the owner of this tavern is not something that can be provoked by people in the Dust and Rain world. And just after He-Yun was scared away, three figures slowly came in at the door of the pub. After the three of them arrived, they went directly to the pub counter, in front of the beautiful woman. Chapter 4084. Two more arrived today. URRBA? Jen Wushuang carefully looked at the woman in front of her. I have to say that this woman is beautiful, pure in appearance, not even under her own coldness. It's just that this woman was born as a slave, and although she has become the ruler, she obviously relies on treasures to pile up directly, resulting in a very ordinary temperament, even giving people a very humble feeling, naturally a little bit of taste. You know my name? The beautiful woman who had been busy couldn't help looking up, and looked at Jen Wushuang in wonder. She doesn't actually have a name. RBA, she was picked up when she was a slave, and she just called out. But not many people know her name in this world. My name is Jen Wushuang and Xian Yi is my master. Jen Wushuang said directly. Big brother Xian? Are you a big brother Xian's disciple? Our bass voice became obviously more urgent than before. Xian brother? Jen Wushuang frowned, but followed with a smile. I am indeed his disciple. If you are convenient, can you talk to me? This. But our bar showed embarrassment. Are you worried about Thunder God Palace? Jen Wushuang glanced at Abai. Our BA is silent. Rest assured, Thunder God Palace will not disturb us. Jen Wushuang smiled. At this time, a figure suddenly appeared beside Jen Wushuang. The deacon, Bai Yang, has met the Bloodsword Master. Do you know me? Jen Wushuang glanced at the poplar. Return to my lord, I have been instructed to protect the eighth girl secretly, And not long ago, the host of my house summoned me personally, saying that you will come here, Lord Bloodsword, and will receive me, and meet all your requirements as much as possible. Aspen said. So it is. Jian Wushuang nodded. Gerlabar, this Bloodsword master, is indeed Zhuangyi's disciple. He also visited Zunyi's palace because of Zhuangyi's affairs. He also had some unpleasantness with mine, but now the conflict has been resolved, and now the Lord Bloodsword wants to talk to you, the eighth girl, then I will naturally avoid the Thunder Palace. Bai Yang was very humble. At the words of Aspen, RBA was surprised. You know, although this poplar has been protecting her in secret, but Arbar knows that this poplar has always been very cold, and he only protects himself by orders, but never really looks down on himself. But now, this high-cold poplar is so humble and kind to her. RBA instantly realized that it was not her who changed this poplar's attitude, but now the sudden appearing Bloodsword master, who is also a disciple of her elder brother. I'll follow you, RBA said directly. Okay, let's find a place to talk. Jian Wushuang smiled, then glanced at the poplar again. You stay here honestly. Yes. Bai Yang didn't dare to disobey. Soon Jian Wushuang took RBA away. After he left, the people in the tavern exploded. Who was that guy just now? I don't know who he is, but the poplar just claimed to be the deacon of the Thunder God Palace, but that is the Thunder God Palace. Even a deacon, usually a fourth-level master, can he serve? It is indeed dominated by the fourth grade, and it has been no accident that he has been protecting this eighth girl secretly. It should be him, like the He Yun before, not by the poplar in his eyes, even the one behind He Yun. Wn Yang, he probably didn't care, but he was just as respectful as the grandson when he faced the person just now. Well, it can make the deacon on the periphery of Thunder Palace so respectful. This is the real big man. The guests in the pub were admiring one after another, but this matter had nothing to do with them at all, and they were just talking about relish. In an empty void not far from the tavern, Jian Wushuang waved his hand to completely shield the surrounding space and time. Gerlabar, I came to you this time, mainly to ask some things about my master. Jian Wushuang went directly to the topic. Master Bloodsword, since you're a disciple of Brother Xian, you should know more about Brother Xian than I do. RBA wondered. It's true, I'm his disciple, but when I worshipped him as a teacher, I wasn't in this starfield at all, but in another relatively distant starfield, and I was separated from him very early. Jian Wushuang smiled bitterly. Is that so? RBA took a deep look at Jian Wushuang and wondered if he was in doubt. Girl 8, can I know, what is the relationship between you and my master? Jian Wushuang asked. Me. I'm just a maid beside Big Brother Xian. Badao. Servant. Jian Wushuang couldn't help wondering. He knew, however, that for the sake of this eighth, Xuanyi did not hesitate to kill Thunder Wing on the first day of the Thunder God Palace, for which he completely offended the Thunder God Palace. Later, for the sake of RBA, he took the initiative to go to the Thunder Palace to die. Just a maid, is it worth his master to do so? I'm really just a maid next to Brother Xian. Even more than 100,000 years ago, I didn't know him at all. Only once, when I was in danger, Brother Xian just passed by and saved me. And the people who wanted to harm me at the time were the people in Thunder Palace, who wanted to catch me in the first genius dedicated to Thunder Palace. And after Brother Xian rescued me, it didn't take long for the first day of the Thunder God Palace to come to me. I thought that Brother Xian should hand me over, but I did not expect that shoot and kill the first day of that Thunder Palace. RBA said. Hearing this, Jian Wushuang was even more confused. It was just that Ping Shui met, and his master saved this Arbashan's hand, but he was still with him afterwards. And when the Thunder Palace only came to the door on the first day, still killing the first one directly? Girl 8, do you know that I respect him? Why do you do that? Jian Wushuang asked. I know. RBA nodded slightly. I didn't know it until later. It turned out to be very similar to that of Xian's wife. What? Jian Wushuang stunned. Wife? Does he have a wife? That's why, when Brother Xian saw that Thunderwing was misbehaving to me, he shot and killed him, and then took me to hide in Jiuyao Starfield. After nearly 100,000 years, but during the 100,000 years, most of my Brother Xian just looked at me quietly, but he hardly talked to me. For 100,000 years, what he said to me would add up to less than 10 sentences. Badao. Just came back today, update normally, and start to make changes tomorrow without accident. Chapter 4085. The first is more. After Jian Wushuang had a brief conversation with Ba Yifan, Jian Wushuang knew that this woman named Ba really met her own master, only because he looked like his master's wife, and his master would rescue him. Nothing more. Girl Ba, do you know why my master asked him to go to Thunder Palace to die? Jian Wushuang asked again. I don't know. Ba shook his head. But when Brother Xian said when he left, all he had to do was done, there was no need to continue. Jian's eyes and pupils shrank immediately. Has everything been done? No need to exist. This feeling is as if you have completed your mission and you can retire. But what did his master do in these 9 starfields? According to the information he received from the Jodi Pavilion, his master has always been relatively low-key in acting in the Jiuyao starfield. Except for the conflict with the Thunder God Palace, he has not caused any major movement in the Jiuyao starfield. What? The sword is incomprehensible. But when Jian Wushuang talked to Ba, no one knew that a huge storm was about to sweep across the entire Jiuyao starfield. In the dark void surrounding the old nest of Thor's temple, an ancient and towering spacecraft came here. In the spacecraft, 3 figures gathered together. Is that the old nest of the Thunder Temple in front? The husky voice emanated from one of the shadows. Well, this reward from the Thunder Temple, let us find a trace of him. Speaking of which, we also thank you so much for this Thunder Palace. But recently, this Thunder Palace has quietly revoked the reward. Perhaps Thunder Palace has found him and killed it. Another low voice sounded. Joke, you guys aren't clear about the means of this guy. There is a Thunder Palace, him, but this Throne Palace has cost so much to reward him, and now it has quietly revoked the reward. There must be some reason for this. For this specific reason, let's ask it in person, Byte 7, and you go with me. One of them stood up. This figure is more than 3 meters high, like a hill. Well, I'm extremely happy. The first figure to speak also stood up. Soon, the 2 figures left the cosmic boat, and before they ran away towards the old nest of the Thunder Temple. The old nest of Thor's palace, in Juyao's large star domain, is an iron bucket. After all, the foundation of Thor's palace is there, and even the ordinary guards of Thor's palace can be defeated. This is also the first time that Jian Wushuang killed the front of Thor's palace, but it can only be blocked there. The reason is not to kill. But today I saw a burly man with a red gold body armor appearing in front of the towering law formation, his big hand directed at the palace guard formation below. The rich golden light exploded, carrying the mighty power of the earth, and instantly descended on the guardian circle. The palace guardian array did not have any resistance ability, and it broke down and collapsed only momentarily. This sudden upheaval has surprised countless strong men in Thor's palace. The palace guardian was destroyed. How is that possible? How can I destroy the palace of the Thunder Palace? Who is it? Who destroyed it? Countless strong men in Thunder Palace raised their heads in horror. The 3 ultimate masters of the Thunder Palace, the throne of the Thunder Palace, the elder of the Thunder Palace, and the main leader of the Blood Thunder Army also looked at them in horror. There was a figure shrouded in rich golden light. The golden light shone on the sky, like a golden of war, and with the cold eyes of this golden of war, he looked down. The breath of terror that even the ultimate dominator suffocated was instantly spread, oppressing the audience. At this moment, the entire Thunder Palace was silent. Extreme, supreme, the throne of the Thunder Palace, terrifying. In fact, it is also very easy to understand that the throne of the Throne Palace cannot be defeated without supreme strength. However, the opponent just smashed the throne of the Throne Palace, and this strength must be of the highest level. But how could the supreme class strong come to the Jiuyao starfield, and why did they come to their Thunder Palace, and without any word, they directly defeated the Thunder Palace guard array? At this moment, the eyes of the Golden of War in the top of the void just swept over the Lord of the Thunder God Palace. The next moment, the Golden of War waved, a huge palm, and lightningly arrested the throne of the Thunder Palace, the elder of the Thunder Palace, and the main leader of the Blood Thunder army. The three of them wanted to escape in horror, only to find that their bodies couldn't move at all, and they could only watch the palm of the hand grabbing them all. The three powerful Ultimate Masters, especially the Thunder Palace Master, still exist at the top of the Ultimate Masters, but in front of the Golden of War above the Void, they are like chickens, without any resistance. Peng! With that big hand, the three bodies of the Thunder Palace Masters were instantly pinched and burst, and even the divine power of the three was annihilated by more than 90% at this moment. In the blink of an eye, the three Ultimate Masters were all in a state of extreme weakness, and only a breath was left. 7. Entrusted to you. The Golden God of War made a low voice. Alas! In a strange laughter, an old man in black with a thin face and a bit of evil breath appeared next to the God of War. The old man in black still had a black snake on his shoulders, his eyes were cold, and he was staring at the three main people of the Thunder Palace who had no resistance in front. Go! The old man in black slightly pointed, and the black snake on his shoulder sprang out instantly. The speed was so much faster than the general Ultimate Master, this like a lightning bolt. The black snake instantly penetrated the heads of the Thunder Palace Master, Thunder Palace Elder, and Blood Thunder Army Master, and immediately swallowed the souls of the three men. After that, Black returned to the shoulder of the old man in black, but his eyes were still closed. After a while, the old man in black looked up again, but the weird smile on his face had disappeared. Oops, that guy really was killed by the people in this Thunder Palace. What? The look of the burly man bathed in gold light suddenly changed. How could it be? How could these people kill him by relying on the Thunder Palace? Under normal circumstances, it is impossible to kill, but what if the guy came to death on his own initiative? The old man in black murmured. Chapter 4086. Second more. Proactively come to death. The golden burly man sank. You mean, does that person know we've been here? That may not be so. The old man in black shook his head. However, we are one step late and the man is dead. This is true, of course, and we have good news. What good news? The golden burly man looked over. He knew the means of the old man in black. Just after the black snake devoured the souls of the three main thunder gods, the black snake also devoured their memory at the same time, and this memory can be shared by the old man in black. Just a few days ago, there was a third-level master named Bloodsword, because he came to this Thunder Palace, and had a battle with Thunder Palace, and finally forced Thunder Palace to compromise. Road. Third level dominates. The golden burly man stunned. Although Thor's palace doesn't have any weight in his eyes, he doesn't care about it at all, but it is also because he himself is supreme. But for a third-level master, Thunder Palace should be a behemoth, but this third-level master can force the Thunder Palace to bow down and compromise. In addition, the third-level master named Bloodsword claims to be his disciple. The old man in black said again. Oh! The golden burly man frowned. If he thought that a third-level master had let Thunder Palace bow his head and compromise, it is a bit incredible. Now knowing that the other party is that person's disciple, this golden and burly man could immediately accept it. He was well aware of the man's ability. If it was the disciple who was taught by that person himself, they would accept it no matter how bad it was. The third-level master named Bloodsword is still in the Joyao starfield and has not left yet. We still have a chance to catch him. The old man in black said. In this case, it is not too late. Let Yang Ju set off immediately and catch the little guy. The golden burly man said. Where is this Thunder Palace? The old man in black looked down at the Thunder Palace that was already in a panic below. Thunder Palace? The golden burly man also looked down, but followed with a sneer. Since the man appeared here, it is not only this Thor temple, but this starfield. There is no need to exist. All traces of him must be erased. This starfield is gone. Hearing the words of the golden burly man, the old man in black shrugged, and a strange smile reappeared on his face. Soon, a horrific attack directly affected the throne of Thor's palace, covering all corners of Thor's palace. In the Thunder Palace, even if the three ultimate masters who have died are left, there are still a lot of strong ones, and there are several strong ones in the 5th level, such as Emperor Rain. But now, under that overbearing attack, Countless practitioners in Thor's palace, including those in the 4th and 5th series, have no chance to escape. They are all affected by this attack and instantly destroyed. 4 powder. In just a moment of effort, the entire Thunder God Palace became a piece of scorched earth. Numerous practitioners in the Thunder God Palace did not escape from the old nest. All of them died and none remained. After the Thunder Palace was completely annihilated, from the ancient cosmic boat, a large number of figures were swept away at the same time. These figures were all powerful, most of them were dominated by the 5th level or above, even the ultimate level. There are many. Of course, the real terrible thing is that in this spacecraft, there are still 3 extreme powers. This large number of 5th level masters, including some ultimate level masters, was swept away in all directions under the personal leadership of the 3 supreme powers. Among them, there are 2 supremely leading teams that directly kill the other top powers in the Joyao starfield. It also took only a short time to uproot the top powers and completely wipe them out. And the other teams, under the leadership of the ultimate dominator, killed one by one, like the 8 first-class astrals in Juyao's large star domain, and they were the first to bear the brunt. Disaster. This is a disaster for the entire Joyao starfield. And this disaster is completely devastated. Joyao starfield has almost no ability to resist. Many forces were annihilated directly, countless astral circles were forcibly crushed into dust, and billions of souls were also ruthlessly killed. And in that one killing team, there is a special team with less than 10 people. They are all composed of the ultimate dominator, but also a supreme strong, directly to the dust rain star world where Zhen Wushuang is located. In the dust and stars, Zhen Wushuang is still talking to NABA. RBA has completely told Zhen Wushuang what he knows. After Zhen Wushuang heard it, although he was still very puzzled, he also got some information. For example, he is master and has a wife. In addition, his master has a mission in Joyao starfield, and it has been completed. In the end, his master was in the Joyao starfield, and he was definitely just a clone. But just then Zhen Wushuang's expression suddenly moved, and he turned his hand, and a messenger appeared in his hand. It seems that the order of Supervisor Feishuer of Joding Pavilion is extremely anxious. What happened? Zhen Wushuang was surprised, and looked into the content of the order. Bloodsword friends, there are a large number of mysterious powerhouses, including the supreme-level powerhouses, who have already killed in the Joyao starfield, and are now launching a killing ring in the Joyao starfield. The strongest forces have all been wiped out. The Earth star where my 9 Emperors Pavilion is located has also been wiped out. The 3 chief executives have killed too, and only I have escaped. If you are still in the Joyao Great Star domain, please run away. Unsurprisingly, the other party's purpose is to completely destroy the entire Joyao starfield. In the interrogation by the supervisor of Feishuer, there was unprecedented panic. After receiving this rumor, Zhen Wushuang also felt a little dazed for a while. Those strongest forces in the Joyao starfield, such as the Thunder God Palace and Fengshan Pavilion, have been destroyed. Even the Zhojian Pavilion branch has been destroyed, and the 3 chief executives have died too. Zhen Wushuang knew this very well. What a shocking news. You know, just now, in the tavern, the outer deacon of the Thunder Palace, Bai Yang, also received a message from the owner of the Thunder Palace. How long has it elapsed before the Thunder Palace has been destroyed? There is also Jodi Pavilion, but that is the superpower in the universe, Super Overlord. Who is it? Even Jodi Pavilion dare to move. Chapter 4087. 3 more arrived today. Although it was incredible, Zhen Wushuang did not doubt the truth of the news. After all, he was on the list of the 9 emperors, and his status was extraordinary. The director of Blizzard didn't dare to lie to him, and there was no need to lie to him. Now the other party can give him an early warning because of his relationship with the list of 9 emperors. After understanding this, Zhen Wushuang didn't dare to think more, and he had no time to figure out what was going on. When Zhen Wushuang waved his hand, the dark spacecraft immediately appeared in the void in front of him. Frost, Demon Flame, quickly enter the spacecraft. Zhen Wushuanglian said. Fu Jun, what's wrong? Lung Rushuang next to him looked puzzled. Don't ask so much before you go in, Jian Wushuang urged. Lung Rushuang no longer asked, and immediately entered the spacecraft with the magic flame. Gerlabar, you must go in quickly, Jian Wushuang said again. RBA nodded slightly and also entered the spacecraft. When all three entered the spacecraft, Jian Wushuang's thoughts moved, and the spacecraft in front of him narrowed again and was taken into his arms. After doing all this, Jian Wushuang immediately got up and started preparing to escape. But he was just leaving. Boom. Sky and earth shook, a suffocating and trembling power of terror passed from the void above. Not good. The sword has no double-sided color changes. He looked up subconsciously, but he saw that the entire world was completely dark, and the endless darkness was slowly rolling down. Look carefully. There is still a huge gully in the darkness, as if it were the texture of the palm is average. This endless darkness, is it impossible? Is it impossible with one palm? Jian Wushuang thought in horror. And the fact is true. Jian Wushuang is now in the dust and rain astral realm. Naturally, it is not clear what the endless darkness covered by the void from the top is. But if you can see in the cosmic void outside the dust rain astral realm, what is covering the dust rain astral realm at this moment is one hand, a huge boundless black giant hand. The black giant hand had completely covered the entire dust rain astral circle, and held the dust rain astral circle in the palm of his hand. Immediately, the black giant hand exerted a little force, just like crushing beans, and a secondary astral world was directly pinched and burst. The dust rain star burst instantly, and the countless mountains and rivers in the star were crushed, and countless souls were buried instantly, without any chance of struggling. In the void outside the dust and rain astral space, a cold man with a dark sword on his shoulders stood condensing, staring at the void in front of him, watching the dust and rain astral space burst into cosmic dust. And the giant hand just came out of this cold man. This cold man, named Yang Ju, is one of the three supremes who have arrived in Juyao's great star domain this time and are currently in the process of killing, that is, the supreme who has come to grab the sword unparalleled. Okay. The cold man's expression suddenly moved. As the supreme strong man, his soul perception ability was far beyond the master. After the complete collapse of the dust rain astral space, he immediately sensed that many of the creatures in the dust rain astral space were almost annihilated. But only one person survived, and the breath emanating from that person was the third level dominating level. The target, is he? The cold man's eyes were slightly cold, and his body had been pulled out directly. In the void directly in front of this cold man, an ancient spacecraft has appeared, and Jian Wushuang is in this spacecraft, fully controlling the spacecraft to flee at the fastest speed. While fleeing, Jian Wushuang also saw the cold man chased from behind, his eyes full of fear and horror. Extreme. It turned out to be the Supreme. Jian Wushuang did not expect how he would be against the Supreme powerhouse so early. And it is clear that the Supreme did not happen to meet him, it was likely that he came directly to him. After all, just when the supervisor Feishuer also said during the news, now the Joyao starfield is launching a killing ring. The group who wants to completely destroy the Joyao starfield, although there are many strong, but the highest level, also just a few. But how big is Juyao's large starfield, and how many stars are there, let alone say that there are at least 100 stars in the second level. With so many secondary astral worlds, how could it happen that a Supreme comes to his astral world? So Jian Wushuang guessed that the Supreme Goal 8 achievements was him. As for the reason, from the way these people act, Jian Wushuang can only think of one possibility. This possibility is related to his own Master Zuni. These people should come from Master Chong, and before they destroyed the Thunder God Palace, it is estimated that I knew my existence from the Thunder God Palace, so they came to deal with me. Jian Wushuang squinted his eyes and looked dignified. Extremely. Fu Jun, are you okay? Lung Rushuang looked at Jian Wushuang with anxiety, because she saw Jian Wushuang's body covered with blood, and her breath was much weaker than before. It's okay. Jian Wushuang shook his head, but his heart was shocked just now. The cold man's shot directly exploded the dust rain astral world, making countless lives in the dust rain astral lost his life. And Jian Wushuang is also in the dust and rain astral realm. The cold man's attack naturally spread to his body, although it is only a part of the power of the microwave, but after all, the shot is the supreme strongman. At that moment, even if Jian Wushuang had an incredible ability to protect his body, the divine body was immediately damaged, and his divine power was annihilated by nearly 30%. Nearly 30%, just barely spread to him. In other words, if the Supreme Man only shot at him, it is estimated that he could kill him with one move. This is the supreme level of strength, and it is really terrible. Jian Wushuang trembled, and his gaze was always watching the cold man chased from behind. The cold man did not take out the cosmic boat, but he was supreme. Even if he was traveling by himself, the speed of bursting out in the cosmic void was not much slower than the cosmic boat. If chasing and escaping like this, Jian Wushuang is not very worried, but the cosmic boat hasn't swept far, and Jian Wushuang will be in the forward direction, and he will feel an extremely powerful breath. This breath, although not supreme, is definitely the ultimate dominating level. Oops. The sword did not change color. Realizing the ultimate dominating breath in front of the spacecraft, Jian Wushuang immediately understood that this was planned by the other party to surround him. The supreme shot must have thought of escaping from the dust and rain, so long ago he arranged for the ultimate master to be in the surrounding void to intercept him. No way, I can only fight. Jian's eyes were cold, and Wu Wei's Excalibur had already appeared in his hands. Chapter 4088. The first is more. In the dark darkness of the universe, a barefooted old man stood silently. His gaze was like a poisonous snake, staring closely at the fast-flying cosmic boat at the end. Well, it was coming in the direction I was in. It seems my luck is really good. This barefoot old man is the ultimate dominator of the cold man who sacrifice his majesty. This time, there are 8 ultimate masters who come to capture Jian Wushuang. These 8 ultimate dominators are scattered in different directions around the dust rain astral circle, so even if the dust rain astral circle collapses, Jian Wushuang escaped from the dust rain astral circle and could not escape from their interception. Now swordsmen fled in this direction, and it was the barefoot old man who was responsible for interception. I heard the 7th Lord said before that this 3rd rank called Blood Sword dominates the identity. The 9th Lord also ordered us to capture him, and we must not kill him. The 3rd Order Dominator is indeed very important. If I can capture him directly, it is also a credit. The barefoot old man sneered. He was ready to stop the spaceship and give the sword Wushuang captured. The spacecraft was extremely fast. It took only a few moments to reach the barefoot old man, and they were constantly approaching each other. Well, stay. The barefooted old man sneered, and his figure was forward. At the same time, in that cosmic boat, a figure also burst out. Want to resist? The barefoot old man smiled even more. The sword Wushuang rushed out of the cosmic boat, but his expression was extremely cold, and his eyes were full of amazing killings. He rushed directly to the barefooted old man, and his strength burst out instantly at this moment. Oh, a icy sword light swept out. The smile on the barefooted old man's face instantly freezes, and in his stead is a look of horror. How come, so fast? This is the thought that erupted in the mind of the barefoot old man when he saw Jian Wushuang's sword. It's too fast, it's really too fast. After reaching the first level of the Zixue secret, Jian Wushuang's application of the laws of the universe and sword skill perfectly combined, and it took a long time to create a sword called Huangquan Maoan. The speed of this sword, even the ultimate dominator, is difficult to resist. Like in the Thunder God Palace before, the Blood Thunder Army leader of the Thunder God Palace could not resist the sword Wushuang. And this barefoot old man, his strength compared with the leader of the Blood Thunder Army, can only say that there is little difference. Even if it is stronger, it will not be too strong. But the key problem is that he can't stop the sword Wushuang. I saw the icy sword light passing directly through the barefoot old man. His eyes narrowed slightly. The moment Jian Guang stroked his body, the laws of his body were the most precious armor, almost blocking the power of this sword. That is to say, the sword Wushuang did not bring him any damage. Is it just fast? The barefooted elder just thought of it, but suddenly, an unprecedented painful rise came from the depths of his soul. Do not. The barefooted elder also screamed a stern scream. The next moment, the skin on his body turned black and grey at a speed visible to the naked eye, and his vitality was fading at an alarming rate. In just a moment's effort, the body of the barefooted old man directly turned into a dust, and only a few treasures remained with his fortune. Under Jian Wushuang's use of a drop of venom worth 5,000 yuan, only one face-to-face, barefoot old man who ultimately dominated the level, died instantly. After killing the barefoot old man, Jian Wushuang did not delay it. He waved his hands to collect many treasures left by the barefoot old man, followed by the spaceship, and continued to flee forward. In the void not far from the rear, the cold man kept following the cosmic boat. He was not in a hurry. After all, he had arranged His Majesty's ultimate master to block the sword. But even if it was this cold man, he never thought that he sent to intercept the ultimate master of Zhenshou Wushou, and he was just killed by Zhenshou Wushou. This is completely beyond the expectation of the cold man. A third-level master, one face-to-face killed the ultimate master? Although some special things are used, it is still incredible. It is indeed the disciple of that person. The cold man's eyes were cold. The more Jian Wushuang turned against the sky, the greater the intention of killing in his heart. And without the interception of the strong ahead, it seems that it is not so easy to stop the spacecraft in which Jian Wushuang rides. I wanted to save some energy, but now it seems that I'm afraid it won't work. In that case. The cold man's eyes narrowed slightly, his right hand waved, and the void in front of him also had a ship. The spacecraft appeared out of thin air. This cosmic boat is not as large as the one that Jian Wushuang rides on, but this cosmic boat looks extremely exquisite. The whole body looks like a plane, and the front part is extremely sharp, like a sharp handle. The spear of, and it is worth mentioning that it is also a cosmic boat. The cosmic boat taken out by this cold man is much stronger than the cosmic boat of sword unparalleled. Catch it. The cold man has arrived on the spacecraft. Under his control, this exquisite purple spacecraft instantly burst through the void with a terrifying speed, and chased toward the spacecraft in which the sword was unparalleled. The speed of this purple cosmic boat is too fast, at least several times or nearly 10 times faster than the one in which Jian Wushuang took them. With such a terrifying speed, this cosmic boat chased all the way down, and after only a moment, it had already caught up. Hit it. The spaceship in which Jian Wushuang was riding was already in front of him, but the cold man controlled his spacecraft, but did not mean to slow down at all, but instead hit the spaceship in which Jian Wushuang was riding directly. Not good. In the spacecraft, the sword did not change greatly. Peng. A terrible impact sounded suddenly in the void of the universe. The black cosmic boat that Jian Wushuang was riding on was directly broken down by the impact. At the moment when the spacecraft collapsed, Jian Wushuang waved his cold and frost directly into the treasure of the repressive law with a wave of his hand, followed by the buzzing power of Jian Wushuang, burning wildly. Dragon mystery, cast directly. Mystic burning mystery? On that purple cosmic boat, the cold man looked at Jian Wushuang, who was still fleeing wildly, but sneered, was it useful? As soon as the voice fell, the cold man slowly stretched out his right hand, pointing away in the direction where Jian Wushuang was. Chapter 4089. 2 more arrived today. A very random finger, and this finger is still a long distance away. However, at the moment pointed by the cold man's finger, Jian Wushuang only felt that the pores in his whole body were rising instantly, and an unprecedented shock came to his mind. This sense of amazement has not been encountered for many years. This feeling is as if he has already reached the edge of and will die directly in the next moment. Boom. A finger like when you appeared behind Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang no longer cares about others, at this moment directly cast the magical powers of the universe, primitive universe, dragon mystery. These are the 2 strongest hole cards in Jian's hands, but now he is playing without hesitation. And after performing these 2 secret operations, Jian Wushuang did not think about going to defeat that when you like finger, but immediately did his best to cast the earth to guard the sword array. I saw a burst of earth sword field rising instantly, under the blessing of the primitive universe and the mystery of dragon extermination. This earth sword array became more tenacious. The heavy sword area formed a complete sword array defense, blocking the sword in front of Wushuang. But the moment that Wen Yu's finger was on the sword array, it was as if his finger had broken through a layer of window paper. One of Jian Wushuang's strongest means of protection, the earth guards the sword array, and it collapses instantly. That finger still carried the horrible power, and continued to bombard the sword's body. The rule of the sword's body was the most precious armor, and it only weakened the power of this finger, and the remaining power continued. Passed on to his body. Jian Wushuang, the godlike body that is comparable to the rule of treasure, is also fragile in front of this finger. Bang rong. Jian Wushuang's body collapsed directly, but immediately followed the reorganization. After the reorganization, the breath on him was already extremely weak. 50%. This finger allows my divine power to directly annihilate more than 50%. Jian Wushuang's inner shock had already reached an unparalleled level. When the cold man crushed the dust and rain astral space before, he was affected and lost nearly 30% at once, but that was on the premise that he was not alert. But now it's different. Now this finger, he is doing all he can to resist. Even the 2 cards of Dragon Extermination and Primitive Universe have been put out, and he also relies on the Guardian of the Earth to resist, plus his godlike body that is comparable to the law. He is confident that even the ultimate masters who understand the laws of the universe may not shake him. But such a good means of body care, in the presence of the Supreme, was so fragile. The cold man obviously hadn't exerted all his strength, just a random finger. But with such a casual finger, he annihilated 50% of his divine power at once, plus 30% wasted before. The remaining divine power now is less than 20%. Less than 20% of the divine power, and the cold man is still behind him. How to escape? Can it be done? I really have to plant it here today? The sword has no dullness, and my heart is full of unwillingness. But just when the cold man was about to shoot again. Roar. A roar blasted loudly in the dark universe. Hair. The cold man's complexion suddenly changed. His gaze couldn't help looking to the side, where he didn't know when a huge face appeared. This face, which is hundreds of thousands of feet tall and infinite, almost envelopes the entire void of the universe. A suffocating coercion also passed from this face. Extreme again. Jian Wu's eyes narrowed sharply. Your Excellency is so noisy in my Jiuyao starfield, wouldn't it be too easy to talk about my husband's eyes? A cold voice passed from the huge face. Hearing this, Jian Wushuang instantly felt happy. He immediately understood that this face should be the supreme strongman hidden in the great starfield of Jiuyao. Jiuyao starfield, but an extremely old big starfield. There are many powerful people who have been born, and supreme-level powerhouses. Jiuyao starfield has also been born, but most of these supremes left Jiuyao Great Starfield, went deep into the universe. As for the current Jiuyao starfield, whether there is a supreme, it has always been a secret. At least in the Jiuyao starfield, there have been dozens of chaos, and no supreme power has appeared. But now it seems that there is indeed a supreme in the Jiuyao Great Star domain. This supreme has always been hidden and never appeared. But now, Supreme has led a large number of strong men to kill in the starfield of Jiuyao, apparently shocking the hidden supreme. I didn't expect to be able to meet the Supreme in such a starfield, and looking at this might, you are probably not weak in the Supreme. The cold man smiled and looked at the huge person in front of him. Face, but followed his words again, but unfortunately, we have already made a decision. The 9 starfields must be erased since you want to block, then you will be together, kill it. Don't say anything. The huge face made a loud drink, and the next moment the face continued to zoom in. The horror mighty and mighty, crushed directly to the cold man. The cold man's expression also began to become dignified. After all, the opponent is also a supreme, and the strength is still not weak. This cold man naturally does not dare to care, and cannot be distracted to deal with the sword unparalleled. The blood sword, I'll give it to a few of you. The cold man whispered, and a shuttle in his hand appeared, and with his body looting, he had already killed the huge face. The next moment, the horrific bombardment, shocked the world, resounded madly in the cosmic void. The bleak man was clearly fighting head-on with the owner of the huge face. As for Jian Wushuang, He immediately seized this once-in-lifetime opportunity and fled wildly into the distance. Behind him, there are also chasing troops, which are the ultimate masters of the Cold Man. These ultimate masters, who were previously in the void around the dust and rain world, were responsible for blocking Jian Wushuang, although the barefoot old man who blocked Jian Wushuang was directly killed by Jian Wushuang, but others are still alive and well. Has now followed up. When the Cold Man battled the huge face, the ultimate masters went all out to hunt down Swordless. Now the sword is unparalleled, with less than 20% of the divine power remaining, the strength of which is sharply reduced, and a drop of venom worth 5,000 source stones. He also has only one drop, and naturally cannot compete with these ultimate masters. However, the good news is that it is better to be pursued by these ultimate masters than by the Cold Man. Today I have a little cavern, but I still owe 2 more. Chapter 4090. The first is more. In the darkness of the dark universe, Jian Wushuang was fleeing quickly, and behind him, there were 7 ultimate masters, chasing after all. Jian Wushuang has stopped the burning of divine power in the body. After all, there is not much divine power left. But even so, the distance between the 7 ultimate masters and him was not narrowed. A 3rd level dominates, so much faster than us. Can we all be the ultimate masters and not even catch up with him? The 7 ultimate masters who pursued him secretly murmured. This is one of the benefits obtained by Jian Wushuang reaching the 1st realm of the purple blood secret, and the application of the laws of the universe has been greatly improved. Before Jian Wushuang's application of the laws of the universe, he could only attach them to his own attacks, but he did not know the various magical uses of the laws of the universe. But now, the sword is full of blessings of the laws of the universe, the speed is launched, and it is no less than the ultimate master. The 7 ultimate masters had a certain distance from Jian Wushuang. After chasing down, Jian Wushuang still had a long distance from them. Can't chase like this anymore, use a spacecraft. One of the ultimate masters said. As soon as his voice fell, a spaceship with a faint bronze light appeared immediately in front of him. This spacecraft was not too high, but it was much higher than the spacecraft that Jian Wushuang had taken before. The most important thing is that here is the darkness of the universe. The speed of the cosmic boat traveling through the darkness of the universe is much faster than the speed of the practitioners. Instantly, the 7 ultimate masters immediately entered the cosmic boat, and this cosmic boat emitting bronze light immediately burst out with an astonishing speed, chasing the sword unparalleled. Chasing and killing in a cosmic boat is much faster than Jian Wushuang fleeing. Suddenly the distance between Jian Wushuang and them narrowed. Suddenly. The original sword Wushuang fleeing straight ahead, but turned around swiftly, changed direction and swept away towards the void in one side. He changed direction. Quickly, we also changed direction. On the spacecraft, the ultimate master who controlled the spacecraft also immediately turned the spacecraft and turned his head. However, the speed of the cosmic boat in the dark and empty space of the universe is indeed very fast, but it does not mean that the direction of the cosmic boat will turn so fast. If you think about it, it is more difficult for a cosmic boat of this size to change direction than it is for a practitioner to change direction. When the spacecraft completes its direction change, Jian Wushuang has continued to glide forward for some distance, and when the spacecraft is about to continue to chase after it, Jian Wushuang fleeing ahead, and immediately began to change direction. This boy is really cunning. No way, the cosmic boat is fast. It can change direction during grazing, but it is much more difficult than the practitioner. This boy knows this and will do so. Trouble. If he continues to change direction like this, we will have a hard time catching up with him even if we are riding a spacecraft. The 7 ultimate masters in the spacecraft were all gloomy. They already felt that Jian Wushuang, the 3rd level master, was a bit too difficult. But they did not give up. Abandon the cosmic boat and chase him at our own speed. Although his speed is not much slower than ours, don't forget that he has been severely wounded by Devourer 9. It is estimated that less than 2 remain. Success, and now he obviously relies on the laws of the universe to be able to explode at such an amazing speed. Can he always use the laws of the universe to consume his divine power? I assenti it low? He only has that little power, how long can he support? It's almost the same, and his speed will naturally spread, and then we will hunt and capture him. An ultimate dominator spoke and was instantly approved by others. Immediately, the 7 ultimate masters put away the cosmic boat, and resumed hunting swords at their own speed. Seeing this, Jian Wushuang did not need to continue to change direction, but kept this distance and continued to flee forward. On the way out, Jian Wushuang turned back and looked at the ultimate masters who chased him from time to time, but sneered at the bottom of his heart. The level is dominated, so you want to consume it slowly with me, and wait for me to run out of power before killing me? Well, the abacus is good, but I'm afraid they will let them down. Seeing those ultimate dominating ideas behind him, Jian Wushuang's heart was not anxious. That's right, he was hit badly, and the divine power left is indeed less than 20%. But don't forget, he is the perfect life. How vast is his divine power? Even if only less than 20% of the divine power is left, it is far more vast than the ordinary master. www.tl Novel. At least the 7 ultimate masters are hunting him, even if their divine power is at its peak. Wushuang also doesn't think he has less divine power left than them. As for the use of the law of the universe to consume the divine power, it is indeed consumed, but the 7 ultimate masters are also chasing him with all their strength, but they also need to consume divine power. It can be said that in the consumption of divine power, he is not out of disadvantage. Now it's more powerful than who's. More powerful than the divine power, even if less than 20% of the divine power is left, it is worthy of these ultimate masters. In the darkness of the dark universe, all of them flew across the body in rapid speed, incredibly fast. The 7 ultimate masters were hunting down Jian Wushuang all the way, and they had been killing for almost half an hour. It was thought that the magic power of Jian Wushuang should be consumed, but the fact is that the speed of Jian Wushuang has never been so high. There is a slight weakening. How is it possible? He has tried his best to escape by using the laws of the universe to almost half an hour now. His remaining divine power should have been exhausted long ago. Even a few of us, such a chase at all costs, have also consumed a lot of their own divine power, and it is estimated that they have more than 10%, but this boy obviously has little divine power, but so far, there has not been a slight weakness. Look. What's the matter? These 7 ultimate dominators are all confused. They have been staring closely at Jian Wushuang, who has always been extremely weak, but no matter how weak, his speed has not slowed down. At this time. Okay. The 7 ultimate masters who were hunting down Jian Wushuang with all their strengths were all moving, and several of them immediately became gloomy. Chapter 4091. Second more. So fast, can you find it? One of the ultimate dominated Shen. No way, this is their place after all. Another ultimate dominates. My lord ordered us to evacuate immediately. It seems that we have to leave quickly, but unfortunately we failed to catch the kid in front. The third ultimate master said. These ultimate dominators are all from the same party, and their orders to the high level are absolutely executed. Now they have been ordered to evacuate immediately, and naturally there will be no trace of stay. Let's go. In a sigh, the 7 ultimate masters immediately reversed their direction and left quickly in the direction they had come. And Jian Wushuang, who had been watching the rear scene, felt relieved when he saw the 7 ultimate masters who had been pursuing him and turned away. Did you finally leave? Jian Wushuang still had some fear. Although the 7 ultimate masters have indeed disappeared into his sight, Jian Wushuang still dare not stop, and continued to escape at the fastest speed. In the cosmic void where the dust and rain astral space was before, the huge human face became bigger, and it was much bigger than before. Boom, 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 boom. The terrible roar of earth-shattering sounds constantly from the center of the face. Every roar seemed to be falling apart. Every collision of divine power has the terrible power to destroy the world. Like the dusty astral space before, if it is still alive, I'm afraid it has been annihilated by the shockwave. I don't know how many times. The battle of the supreme level strong can only be described as shocking. And this battle does not last long. A figure suddenly appeared around the battlefield. Byte 9, stop. The golden god of war, bathed in golden light, opened his mouth, his voice loud. In the center of the huge face, the cold man pulled away and came to the periphery of this golden god of war. Their people have arrived, we must leave immediately. Golden Shinto. Oh, their speed is really fast in the past. The cold man smiled. Unfortunately, they are still late. This star field has almost been destroyed. The only regret is to let the little one, the guy, escaped. It's okay to escape, no matter how he is just a third-level master, even if he is really a disciple of that person, he probably doesn't know much. The Golden of Wary said, followed by he waved, let's go. The two immediately left. While leaving, the Golden God of War glanced coldly at the huge human face in the back, but this glance surprised the owner of that face secretly. The huge face dissipates out of thin air, and in the void at the center of that face, an old figure slowly emerges. This is an old man with Tong Yanheifa. He is also stepping on a 10-foot-tall purple alien beast under his feet. The alien beast is not only bulky, but also looks abnormal and horrible. It turned out to be the Supreme. The old man Tong Yanheifa looked at the direction in which the two men left, still with a touch of horror in his eyes. He is the master of that face, and the Supreme who has been hiding in these 9 mega stars, and his strength is relatively strong among the Supremes. And the cold man who just met him, in the fierce battle with him, the two fight with each other equally. Obviously the strength is not weaker than him. He was able to cope with this cold man, but just arrived, the Golden of War who informed the cold man left, but it brought him great pressure. Especially the cold glance when the Golden God of War left, and the glance made Tong Yanhe the old man immediately confirm that the other party has the top and supreme strength. Top supreme, even in the depths of the universe, there are super existences that can open up the kingdom of God alone. Such superpowers have even come here. Are you still killing in this star field? Who are they? What purpose do they have? Tong Yanhe made the old man frown, and kept thinking. In Joyao Starfield, a dark void near the edge, Zhen Wushuang fled here in one breath, and finally stopped. With a wave of his hand, the flames of magic immediately appeared in the surrounding void. Fu Jun, are you okay? Leng Rushuang looked at Zhen Wushuang anxiously. Although she had been staying in the independent space of Gentianbei before, she could see clearly what happened outside. She knew exactly how dangerous her husband had just experienced. Fortunately, even though my divine power was consumed by 90%, my life was saved. Zhen Wushuang sighed lightly, but a relieved smile appeared on his face. Nearly, I am almost dead. Knowing that you are almost dead, are you still laughing? Leng Rushuang gave Zhen Wushuang a white look. Haha. Zhen Wushuang smiled even more happily. This is the adventure. This is like a rush in the universe. This feeling of being on the edge of life and death and being able to die at any time is really a lot. It hasn't happened in years. Zhen Wushuang, this is a sincere sigh. Indeed, in the early days of the divine realm, although he also had potential enemies and encountered danger, but because his own life-saving ability was too bad, he could survive it. Even though some crises are dangerous, Zhen Wushuang still has great confidence. He knows that he is not so easy to die. But that scene was completely different. In the situation just now, even if he didn't have any confidence that he could survive, he can only do everything possible to make himself live as long as possible. Yes, when he was hunted down by that Supreme, he really thought so, and he could live a little longer. Because facing the Supreme Strong, he really has no ability to resist. In the end, if the mysterious Supreme Strong who has been hiding in these 9 starfields has been shot, he will definitely be dead. Captured. This is the universe. The voice of the demon flame also suddenly sounded. The master, the universe is dangerous, and the ensuing crises are everywhere, and the practitioners who roam the universe often put their heads on their belts. The sudden crisis is dead. Like this time, this crisis is also sudden. You, the master, are still lucky and survived, but countless souls and practitioners in this starfield, Most of them will be killed without any preparation. Now, killing in the universe is so ordinary and so sudden. Chapter 4092. 3 more arrived today. Hearing the words of the magic flame, Jian Wushuang could not help but be silent. Indeed, although this encounter was extremely dangerous for him, he finally survived. But what about the other practitioners in Jiuyao Starfield? When Supervisor Feishue called him before, he could tell him that the killing of these people in the Jiuyao Starfield was to completely destroy the Jiuyao Starfield. With these people's strength, isn't it easy to destroy a big starfield? Although there are many astral circles and countless creatures in the Jiuyao Starfield, after this battle, how many astral circles can be retained, and how many creatures can survive? Compared to the countless creatures and practitioners killed in this disaster, he is indeed extremely lucky. This is the universe. Jian Wushuang sighed. Although he has been in the universe for more than 100,000 years, he still truly understands the cruelty of the universe until today. Compared to the divine realm in the early days, the killing of the cosmic boat is more crazy, more sudden, and more bottomless. For some powerful people in the universe, it is not uncommon to destroy a large starfield and destroy billions of souls, just like crushing an ant. But these things, Jian Wushuang have never seen before. Cool. Taking a deep breath, Jian Wushuang took out a summons. Supervisor Blizzard. Jian Wushuang summoned to Supervisor Blizzard. Bloodsword friend, have you survived? Supervisor Fei Shui quickly replied. Thank you for your timely communication, so that I can be prepared, otherwise. Jian Wushuang thanked Fei Shui for his main pipeline. Indeed, if Supervisor Fei Shui summoned him in advance this time to alert him, otherwise he might not be able to escape from the Supreme Hand. Even if he could escape, his wife, and Demon Flame, would not be so lucky. After all, it was precisely because of receiving a message from Supervisor Fei Shui that he immediately let his wife, Mo Yang, and Naba enter the cosmic boat, so he could carry it with him. If they hadn't been able to enter the spacecraft beforehand, that Supreme attacked, and the dust and rain realm collapsed in an instant, I am afraid he would have no time to protect it from the cold. You're welcome. You are my friend of Jodi Pavilion. As the director of Jodi Pavilion in this Jiuyao Starfield, I should give you a warning in advance. It is right that Supervisor Fei Shui smiled and followed. He asked again, Bloodsword friend, have you left Jiuyao Starfield now? Not yet, but it is already the most marginal zone. Jian Wushuangdao. That little friend, you don't have to escape now. In the depths of the universe, some powerful men sent by great forces have already arrived. Those who had previously launched a killing ring in Juyao's large star domain now only have to escape. Fei Shui main pipeline. Did the strong man in the depths of the universe come over? Jian was eyes narrowed, but he did not arrive in an accident. Although it is not located in the depths of the universe, the Jiuyao Starfield is also extremely close. It has an extremely long existence. It is an extremely old big starfield. There are many powerful people born in history. Extreme estimates are many. There must be a lot of involvement in such a large starfield in the depths of the universe. How can some of the top powerful players in the universe, or some forces exist, tolerate the direct destruction of the Jiuyao Starfield? It is certain that a strong person rushed there. It's just that Jian Wushuang didn't expect that the speed of these strong men turned out to be so fast. Rushing from the depths of the universe to the Jiuyao Great Starfield, if you rely on the cosmic boat to slowly move around, it will take tens of thousands or even tens of thousands of years to say less, or even longer. But it wasn't long before the group of people ransacked in the Jiuyao Starfield, and the strong man in the deep of the universe arrived, apparently using some cosmic channels that directly reached the Jiuyao Starfield. That channel, once opened, is costly. Supervisor Fei Shui, can you tell me, what forces in the depths of the universe have sent the strong over here? Jian Wushuang asked casually. It's not a secret. It's okay to tell you. Supervisor Fei Shui laughed. This time, there was a catastrophe in the Jiuyao Starfield. A total of 5 forces were shocked in the depths of the universe. Among these 5 forces, 3 of them it's all because of His Majesty, some of which are related to Jiuyao Starfield, and one of them is a special camp that contains a mission, and the last one is my Jodi pavilion. The reason why the strongest of my 9 Emperors' Court came is because the branch of my 9 Emperors' Court was also destroyed by those people. Jian Wushuang heard, nodded secretly. Bloodsword friends, now that the strong men in the depths of the universe have arrived, there will naturally be no more storms in these 9 starfields, and you do need to rush away. You can come to my Jodi pavilion again if you have time. The status of the adults I sent to Jodi pavilion this time is extraordinary. If you come to Jodi pavilion, maybe I can help you to refer. Fei Shui main pipeline. Thank you in advance, Fei Shui. Jian Wushuang smiled slightly. He soon interrupted the conversation with Supervisor Blizzard. And at this moment, in a dark void in the most central area of Juyao Starfield, the rumbling gathered terrible coercion, forming a huge storm. Within this storm, towering figures stood there arbitrarily. No matter how strong the storm was, they couldn't regret moving those figures at all. There were 6 people standing in the storm. All 6 are supreme. One of them, Yang Yanhe, is the one who has been hiding in Juyao's starfield. However, when the old man Yang Tongfa faced the other 5 people at the moment, he was obviously inferior. 5 people, that's all I know. As for the origin of those people, what their purpose is, I don't know. Tong Yanhefa, said the old man. The 5 people in the storm, after listening to the old man's narration, his brows frowned. You say, among them, is there a top and supreme existence? A puppet man with eyes as sharp as an eagle opened his mouth, his voice with a sense of metal oppression. Yes, although he didn't really shoot, just glanced at me, but I can feel the pressure he gave me. The pressure is absolutely top level and extreme. Tong Yanhe, said the old man. This is interesting. The man snarled and grinned. The top and supreme powerhouse, how much can the entire universe be? You can't recognize it, and when you see us rushing over, leave without saying a word. I won't even say hello. It is said that a beautiful wife was found at the end of the new score. Chapter 4093. The first is more. Although the Joyao Great Starfield has a lot to do with some powerful forces in the depths of the universe, the party that started this time can send top and supreme power, and naturally the strength is not much worse, at least in the universe. The top forces, and such top forces, there is no reason to hide. A big starfield, it will be destroyed before it's gone, so we won't run away as soon as we come. A gentle in the storm. The female voice sounded. It's weird. Those who are doing it are extremely fast. They can notice that when we arrive, we leave without a word, leaving no trace. This style of behavior is not like those big forces in the universe. It's like the writing of those people. An old voice sounded. Those people? The bit of super existence in the storm suddenly became dignified. If it is the hands of those people, there must be a big secret in the Joyao Starfield. The reason why they want to erase the Joyao Starfield is to cover up that secret, said the man. The people around me also nodded in unison. They are all top-level beings in the universe, and all of them have extraordinary origins, and they know more about some secrets in the universe. And this time the group of strong shots against Joyao Starfield really behaved in a way that reminded them of a mysterious organization. If it is really the hands of the strong organization, then these 9 starfields are definitely not ordinary. Unfortunately, we came a little later. The Joyao Starfield has been almost destroyed, and those people have escaped early. No trace of it remains. We want to find out the secret. Fear not so easy, said the vicissitudes. You can't find it, you have to find it, we can't come here for nothing. The soft female voice sounded. Suddenly, in the storm, these supremes talked to each other. One of the figures, that is, the puppet man with eyes as sharp as an eagle, at this moment was a movement. Okay. Is this induction? There was a hint of wonder in the man's eyes. I know that there is still a long distance from me, but this induction is still so strong. This is interesting. The man smiled weirdly, and then looked around at a few people. You guys, I just came out a lot, but I didn't plan to go back like this. I just wander around in the Joyao Starfield. If anything, you just call me. When the man finished speaking, he turned and left. When I saw the man leaving, most of the other supremes in the storm did not feel anything wrong, but among these supremes, There was an old man in a yellow robe, but he looked at the direction in which the young man left. This guy is very lazy in weekdays. It is estimated that I was ordered by the above to come to the Joyao Starfield. It can be his temper. If those people have left, he will naturally be too lazy to look for it. It will go straight back, but why is there so much time to wander around in this big star domain? The old man in the yellow robe stared. Soon the old man in the yellow robe also left, and the direction he was going was exactly the direction that the Sun man left before. Dark, cold universe void. Qi Jian Wushuang sat quietly sitting there, restoring divine power. As cold as frost, magic flame, and Naba, they are standing in the surrounding void, and have not come to disturb the sword. In this crisis, Jian Wushuang lost too much magic power, and naturally it takes a lot of time to recover. Even if it is to restore the divine power, Jian Wushuang would not dare to enter some astral circles, although there are still a lot of astral circles in the 9 starfields, but because of the crazy killing of those people before, Jian Wushuang still feels in the darkness of the universe. During the restoration of divine power, we must be more secure. Wu Kuling's sword did not expect that even if he was in the darkness of this dark universe, there were still people who found him. Howl. A streamer suddenly flickered in the surrounding void, the streamer dissipated, and a figure slowly appeared in front of several people of Jian Wushuang. The figure is not too tall and the appearance is very ordinary, but the most noticeable thing is that he has a pair of sharp eyes like eagles. When he came to this void, the sharp eyes spreading, his eyebrows were full of jealousy. "Is that you?" the man said, but his eyes were completely fixed on Jian Wushuang. "Who?" I always kept the magic flame of the sword Wushu protection method, and swept over the first time, staring at the man with vigilance. At the height of the demon flame, Hao Yi was also the ultimate master. He also ran through the depths of the universe. His vision was not low. Although he could not see the concrete strength of the man in front of him, he knew by intuition that the man was not good. Provoke. The person I'm looking for is him. It's not you. You better walk away. The man chuckled a little, and in a simple sentence, he didn't see his shot, but as soon as the voice fell, a strong coercion directly compression came. Under this coercion, Demon Flame's body shuddered, followed by directly kneeling down. No matter how he struggled, he couldn't stand up again. Extreme strong. Demon Flame was full of panic. The frosty coldness and RBA, who were beside him, were also shocked. Suddenly in front of the void, Jian Wushuang, who has been concentrating on restoring the power, also noticed the movement here, and opened his eyes for the first time. Extreme again. Jian Wushuang looked up, looking at the man, his face became extremely ugly. Extreme, the pinnacle of the universe. Even in the depths of the universe such as the strong, the supreme level of the strong are super high beings. It is very difficult to see them on weekdays, let alone in the universe on the edge. But today, in these 9 starfields, in a short period of time, he has seen 3 extremes. The first one, naturally, crushed the dust and rain astral world, and almost killed him. The second one is the master who rescued his huge face at a critical time. He is the supreme strongman who hides in these 9 starfields. The man in front of him is the third. For a long time, I met 3 Supremes. When did the Supremes become so worthless? Sir, are you here for me? Although there was a trace of at the bottom of his heart, Jian Wushuang asked incomparably calmly. Yes, I'm looking for you. The man smiled slightly, but stretched out right after his right hand, pointing away in the direction where Jian Wushuang was. Chapter 4094. 2 more arrived today. A casual finger, looks soft as if there was no strength at all. I can see such a finger, but Jian Wushuang's complexion changed greatly. It should be noted that not long ago, the Supreme who chased and killed him outside the dust and rain world was also such a simple and casual one finger pointing, that one finger was working hard, and all the cards he could not resist were almost impossible. He died in that finger. Now, he has recovered less than 20% of his divine power, and once again faces the supreme finger. How can he resist? Boom. The horrible mighty power acted on Jian Wushuang's body instantly, and Jian Wushuang really did not have any room for struggle. The remaining divine power was only annihilated in an instant. But fortunately, this man didn't seem to want to directly kill him, and gave him a breath. In the dark void, Jian Wushuang still stood there. His divine power was almost exhausted, and he was completely exhausted. I was in the void next to the weak, and I saw that my uncle's sword was unparalleled, and it was cold and frosty. I was about to come over the first time, but the uncle's man waved his hand and flew away very far. The man looked at Jian Wushuang at the moment, but there was a look of ecstasy on his face. Haha, big surprise, big surprise. I thought that this errand would not be very rewarding, but I didn't expect that I would encounter a special life, and it would still be a perfect special life. Haha. My luck, it's really good. The uncle man laughed wildly, looking at Jian Wushuang's eyes, his eyes burning, as if he was hungry for the beast, staring at his prey. And when this man's hand, I don't know when an extra dark spear came. This dark spear is extremely cold, and it also exudes a very special atmosphere. This breath made Jian Wushuang both shocked. This breath, and this spear. Jian Wushuang looked at the lance in the hand of the stunned man in surprise. He knew this spear, and was very familiar with it. At the beginning of the demon battle with the Lord of the Clouds in the early days, the Lord of the Clouds had such a black spear in his hands, and the breath was exactly the same, but now the spear that this man took out has a more breath. Chong is even more amazing. After the death of the Lord of the Clouds, the black spear fell into his hands, now in his ring of heaven. He has also studied this black spear before, knowing that this black spear has a great restraint effect on special life, but he does not know why it is so restrained. Now, the same more powerful spear is taken out by the Supreme. Well, since I got this spear, there are a lot of special lives that are beheaded, including some higher level special lives, but the perfect level of special life, I really have never been beheaded. Today God it gave me a chance. As long as I kill you, my spear will probably undergo qualitative change. The man's eyes were very hot. Boy, you can die in peace. The stunned man smiled coldly, and the dark spear in his hand was ready to pierce the sword unparalleled. Jian Wushuang is almost desperate. He is very clear that with this man's supreme level of strength, even if he is at the peak, he does not have any resistance ability in front of him, not to mention that his power is almost exhausted now, and the oil is exhausted. At this moment, Black Hawk, you are also dignified and supreme. Even if you shot at a third-level little guy, you may not pay too much attention to your identity. A low voice suddenly sounded in the void of the universe. The man's spear had been lifted, but at this moment he paused. The puppet man turned his head and looked to the side, where the figure of an old man in yellow robe appeared slowly. The old man in the yellow robe was just one of the several supremes in the previous storm, and the only one who saw that the young man was acting strangely. Who am I? It turned out to be the Supreme Heart. The man saw the person, but his look did not change at all. So coincident, you are here too? I saw that you were acting weird, so I just kept up. I didn't expect to just run into this. The old man in the yellow robe looked at Jian Wushuang, but his eyes were a little displeased. This little guy, it's just the third-level dominator. Even if you let the Black Eagle you come all the way to yourself, it also allows you to lower your status. It seems that it should be a special life, and the level of life is not low. Supreme Heart, you know where I came from. Since I encountered a special life at a higher level on the way, I will naturally take a shot. Why, should I kill a special life that dominates the level? You must also control the Joding Pavilion. The man's voice was a little cold. Slaying the Supreme Heart, named after the word killing heart, its name is purely created by killing. His strength is absolutely the strongest among the Supremes, and he is infinitely close to the top. However, although the Supreme Heart is very strong, but also the Supreme, the background of this young man is not ordinary. Naturally he will not be afraid of the other party. I didn't want to care about this, I just happened to see it, and remind you by the way, more or less, you should pay attention to your own identity. Zixin Supreme said. Haha, thank you, Supreme Master, for reminding you, if nothing is wrong, you will leave. The man smiled. Suddenly, the supreme glance of the Supreme Heart was hesitated, and he hesitated. He decided not to hesitate, and turned to leave. At this moment, Can adults come from Jodi Pavilion? Jian Wushuang suddenly spoke. Huh. Zixin Supreme turned to and glanced at Jian Wushuang. What about it? Wu Jian was so happy that he said, My lord, my name is Bloodsword, and my name is on the list of 9 emperors. The list of 9 emperors? The smile on the man's face was abruptly stiff, and his heart screamed badly. Are you a genius on the list of 9 emperors? He looked at Jian Wushuang in surprise. Yes, I put my name on the Zhoujian list more than 100,000 years ago, and this time Zhuoyao Starfield was in dire straits. It was still one of the directors of Zhuyage in this Zhuoyao Starfield. Send me a message and let me flee so that I can survive. Just now I also exchanged information with Supervisor Feishue. Supervisor Feishue said that this time the Emperor Jyoti sent a very extraordinary supreme strongman. If there is an opportunity, he will also refer me. If the adult does not believe it, he can now call and ask Supervisor Feishue. Jian Wushuanglian said. Chapter 4095. The first is more. Supervisor Blizzard. The heart-struck look moved. I came to this starfield, but a supervisor did contact me, but I don't know the name, I asked. Slaying Heart Supreme immediately took out a summoning order and began to ask. The man next to him was a little gloomy. After a few moments, the Supreme Heart inquiry was over. Are you a blood sword? Stark Sword stared at the sword unparalleled in the heart of Supreme Heart. He just asked the Blizzard supervisor about everything about Jian Wushuang and got the answers he wanted. The 3rd level dominates, but the combat power is comparable to the ultimate dominate. At the level of the Master of the Rules, you will realize a trace of the law of the universe, which belongs to a super genius rarely seen in billions of stars. Even if the Supreme Heart Killer learned the information of Jian Wushuang, he couldn't help raising his heart and wondering. The next moment, a decision had been made in the heart. Black Eagle, you can leave. Supreme Heartbeat said casually. What did you say? The man frowned, extremely heartbreaking. What do you mean by that? Don't understand. I said you can leave. The heart-beating Supreme smiled slightly. This little guy named Bloodsword is a genius on the 9 Emperors list, and it is also valued by my senior members of the 9 Emperor Pavilion. I won't let you kill him. Heart killing. The man's voice was cold, and his face was still a little angry, but this anger was quickly suppressed by him. I saw the man's expression calmed down again and chuckled. Extreme heart killing. Even if this little guy is on the list of the 9 emperors, he has nothing to do with you. Why don't you sell me a face? So, as long as you leave now, I am willing to give 3 Chanchi God fruits. How? The man is really eager to kill Jian Wushuang. After all, killing a perfect life means a lot to him, and he will get more. 3 copies of Chanchi God fruit? Brow the Supreme frown. Black Eagle, you're really willing. I really have a little movement. Heart killing, think about it. If you keep him now, what will you get? Even if the highest level of Jodi Pavilion knows this, at most it will praise you, but these 3 Chanchi God fruits, even if it is you, it is not easy to get it, right? The man continued to seduce. Suddenly, the beating heart is a smile that looks like a smile, hesitating. He was next to the void. Jian Wushuang was very anxious inside, but he didn't dare to speak. He was very clear that his current life and death were tied to this supreme thought. Black Hawk, you are indeed willing enough, but unfortunately, you still want to be disappointed. Supreme Heartbeat. The smile on the uncle's face suddenly froze. He even said, Heart killing, do you really not give me face at all? Joke, how much is your face worth? Supreme Heart is dismissive. I can only tell you that you are looking for the wrong person. If you exchange for some of my other Supreme Kings, it may still be possible I will sell you a face because of the 3 Chanchi God fruits, but unfortunately you met me, but I sincerely worked for the Jodi Pavilion, but I didn't have much selfishness. Considerable, even if he is not valued, as long as he is on the list of the 9 emperors, then I will not let you kill him under my eyes. You should have heard me clearly, I won't say it again. Black Hawk, leave. Heart killing, the man finally rose up with complete anger, and his body also had a violent killing intention rising. Why, you still want to make it with me? Supreme Heartbreaker smiled coldly. I don't look down on you, even if you are 2 or 3 levels of supreme, even if you come with 2 or 3 at the same time, it's not enough to see me. If you don't get out, I will teach you. Gritting his manly teeth, he stared hard at Supreme Heartbeat, and at the bottom of his heart was a wormhole to fight against Supreme Heartbeat. But this is really just a wormhole. The Slaying Heart is the most famous name in the depths of the universe, but it is more than his Black Eagle Supreme. In terms of strength, the Slaying Heart is rising in the killing, and it is terrible. Although he is also supreme, and his strength is not weak in the supreme, he is indeed far worse than the strong ones such as the Heartbeat. You're ruthless. The man snorted loudly. He unwillingly glanced at Jian Wushuang and immediately turned away. Seeing the man leaving, Jian Wushuang finally exhaled. The cold and frosty flames behind him were relieved. Woohoo! The old man in the yellow robe rushed towards the sword with his heart-shaped figure. Blood sword, thank you for your help. Wushuang's sword immediately bowed and salute, and his heart is full of gratitude. Yes, indeed, this time, if it wasn't for the heartbreaking supreme that the man was acting strangely, and followed him, he must have died in the hands of the man. This beast of supremacy this time did indeed save his life. Of course, Jian Wushuang must remember this kindness. You guys, you're welcome. Supreme Heart waving and waved, you are on the list of the 9 emperors. As the Supreme Emperor of the 9 Emperors Pavilion, since I just happened to meet, naturally I won't watch the Black Hawk kill you. But then again, you are indeed lucky this time. If I hadn't seen this Black Hawk acting a bit weird, I followed him on purpose, otherwise you must be dead. Yes. Jian Wushuang nodded his head, but followed him with doubt again. Master, I have never met the Black Hawk Supreme just now, nor did I have any contact. How could he directly for no reason take a shot to kill me, and how can he find my place? Jian Wushuang can be sure the man who just came to see him deliberately. You must know that he is in the darkness of the universe. The darkness of the universe is vast and vast. How could the man find his place directly? Haha, little guy, at first glance, you haven't been in the universe for too long, and it's no accident, haven't you been in the depths of the universe? He looked at Jian Wushuang with great interest. Yes. Jian Wushuang nodded. He was very eager to go to the depths of the universe, but he would not wait until the events in Juyao Starfield were completely settled, but now the events in Juyao Starfield have not really ended. Little guy, you just heard my conversation with that Black Hawk. The reason why the Black Hawk killed you is because of your special life. Just kill me because I'm a special life. Jian Wushuang frowned. You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories,